Everybody, and welcome to this evening's edition of the Beer Garden. Just wanted to share with everybody, we have our guests coming on here shortly. We have my traditional co-host and David Harris with Spire Hookah. We have Savage J. We're always us three are from the Element side of the equation. We have Matt Desind, Paul Silao, Dean Paul Silao, and Matt Desind in the same place. Is it true? We even have Kyle Smith coming in here. So just give us a couple more minutes to sit back and relax and maybe have a couple more drinks of our beers. Wait till everybody gets nice and happy. We can just sit here and relax and drink our beers together, annoy each other. Look at Kyle's pretty hair and the beard that is growing back, and why is it that Matt Desind continues to shave? But sit back, relax, and enjoy, and we'll see you guys shortly. Hello, guys and girls. Welcome to the beer garden. I hope everybody enjoys the discussion and look forward to kind of pushing this with my group of guys and girls that have so much fun with me on a daily basis. You know, we got myself, you know, and we got Dr. Desind over from that one thing we used to do. And we got Dr. Harris over from Spire Hookah. We got Dean Paul Silao repping the HU hat. We have Savage J. Jen, you came out of nowhere with some awesome fucking packs, and that's kind of, you know, everybody's going to want to know your secret, right? And then we have the one, the only Dr. Smith, maker of some of the most beautiful bowls on the planet, right? So we got a like a hodgepodge cast of people here today.
I'm excited. This is going to be a lot of fun. This is going to be a little chaos, but we're getting things. We're going to be talking about the new kid on the block, I feel, in some respects, with Element Tobacco. We're going to be talking about kind of the old tobacco in the room in a way when it comes to Darkside. I feel like a lot of people for a long time have been talking about Darkside. A lot of people have been hyping up Darkside, but we're going to be talking about it in a little bit of a different way today. We're going to be talking about it and trying to, you know, kind of let you know what it is that we enjoy about these kinds of tobacco, while also a cool introduction, I feel, in a sort of way to Element Tobacco. I feel like on Hookah University, everybody's been doing a very good job of really introducing people to what is Element Tobacco. We got Bob doing some bomb videos. We got David doing some bomb videos over at Hookah University as well. We got Jeremy always doing great stuff. And then if you're not watching the packs that Paul will be doing at any even a tiny bit announcement that you may be expecting, it's just fantastic to see what Paul has going on, especially because you never know what he's going to be wearing. And I'm not talking about his clothes, I'm just talking about his face. That's all that I'm actually talking about. But I am super excited to be here hanging out. We got a lot of awesome people already joining us in the chat. Jeremy Bilu has stopped by. My main fans, Pots and Pans.
I think I was talking to Bilu at like 4 a.m. this morning. I literally was talking to Bilu at like 4 o'clock this morning on Twitter. And I'm like, yo, Bilu. And he's like, yo, this looks pretty cool. What's the hype around it? And I'm like, man, why do you got to go in with that word called hype, right? That word pisses me off because, you know, we're all going to talk about what we like. And if we don't like it, it's pretty obviously, you know, that we're not going to talk about it, Matt. I mean, would you talk about something you don't like, Matt?
I would only be talking about things that I have experience in the ability to be able to talk about, because I don't want to talk out my asshole, because that's what assholes do. They talk out of that, and I don't do that because I like to talk about what I have the ability to talk about.
So we're going to go into this real quick, and we're going to go like, what are you smoking? What are you drinking? And does it really matter, right? Because, I mean, you try and like find things that go well together, right? I mean, if you're going to be drinking all night and you're smoking, that's kind of the purpose of what I've tried to bring to the beer garden, and I know David has. But tonight is like, you know, let's just get some people on. Let's have some beers. Let's have a discussion and figure out what the hell our experience has been thus far with this stuff. So I'm going to start with you, Matt. What are you smoking? What are you drinking?
I am smoking at the moment something that I'm very excited to be smoking, because it's been like my main bowl. It's been my main mix of tobacco from Darkside as of late. Recently got a new batch of Darkside in, and this has been what I have been just loving to smoke. And it is a mixture of red berry, which is, I guess, red currant, but I have never had regular currant. So I don't know the difference between regular currant and red currant is exactly, but I can tell you that this red currant, this red berry, has been fantastic. It's a nice sweet tart berry flavor. It's very, very good, almost like a mixture of like a strawberry with like a raspberry type flavoring. It's just really, really good. And then the other part of this is the Genesis raspberry. And the Genesis raspberry, go to a gas station right now, or not right now, wait till the show's over, obviously. Go to a gas station and they have this candy from, I believe it's pronounced Habanero. Huh? What?
Bad advice, Matt. Bad advice. Don't drink and use your vehicle at the same time.
Wait till you're sober.
Called Lyft and Uber. I highly recommend it.
Wait until you're sober. But it's called Genesis Raspberry, and there's this brand of candy called Habero or Harbero. I don't know what it's called. Anyways, they have this raspberry candy that has like these tiny little sugary crystal things all over these raspberry candies, and it tastes like exactly like that. It's really good. It's once again another sweet tart type berry flavor, which is really good. And then I threw in just a little bit of Supernova because I gotta throw in a little bit of Supernova every time that I go to Darkside because I really like that flavoring, that coldness factor. And then I'm drinking this IPA called the Hazy Trail Indian Pale. It's very good. It's very mild in comparison to what I think most people expect a IPA to kind of taste like. It's smooth. It's easy. It's kind of like me, just easygoing and ready to have some fun. It's just really enjoyable. I like this Hazy Trail quite a bit. I'm excited to be here. I'm excited to hear what everyone else is smoking. So yeah, let's go ahead and find out what other people are smoking.
David, what are you smoking or drinking, bud? I mean, I know you're kind of used to this and you like to go into details. So, swing in there with your sultry voice and make something happen, boy.
I'll keep it kind of. I mean, the beer is not simple. Let's be honest, the beer is not simple. But what's in the bowl is pretty simple. It's actually Element Nuts, and then I have actually 2 of the water lines in there. So it's going to be Belgian Waffle, Element Nuts, and then the Earthline Blueberry. Really potent, nice kind of breakfast style sweet smoke. I tend to like desserts, as people have noticed. And then I paired something a little funky with it. I paired from the Evil Twins Brewing Company out of New York. It's a sentence in itself. The Imperial Biscotti Chili Hazelnut Break. All right. And it contains chili, hazelnut, vanilla extracts, and it's a 11.5% Imperial Stout. So super multi characteristics. That chili's coming through, but it's not a heat chili. It's kind of like biting into a red bell pepper, which I'm all about. So
you got chili, you got chocolate, you got blueberries from what you're smoking. Sounds like you got some good shit going on there. I'm happy about it. Makes fat people jump, that kind of thing. We got like Paul over here with his Thanos / Iron Man / Hookah University hat and jacket over a Christmas sweater. What are you smoking and drinking, Paul?
Dude, I am smoking Darkside red tea. And I almost forgot because there's 2 red stuff in there, and I'm smoking red berry and red tea together. Because Matt was like, "Oh, you got to try this red berry," and I was like, "Okay, well, I got some. I haven't opened it yet, so I cracked it open." Smelled it out of the bag. It smelled like Halle berries.
Well, Paul, you actually did the pilot episode with me of the Beer Garden live on Hookah University when I was kind of still brainstorming this idea, and it's nice to have you back with us. What are you drinking?
Sweet.
Did you say that already?
I'm drinking something special. It's called Special Release Made in San Diego Modern Times Beer. It's called Monster Park Imperial Stout, aged in Saint LaCroix rum barrels, not LaCroix, with cinnamon and allspice. So here it is right here. The notes that I'm supposed to get out of it is barley, oats, chocolate malt, midnight wheat, Cristal 120 roasted barley, and black barley.
So for those who don't know midnight wheat, go out to a field at midnight and just enjoy. Okay,
David. He actually complements this smoke fairly well because of the red tea and all the spices that's associated with it. It's pretty good.
Well, that sounds delicious.
Side note: I'm taking shots of whiskey, not just beer, and the whiskey I'm drinking right now is called Rio.
Well, I might get some peanut butter whiskey to go out with my stout here. We can talk about that in a minute. But I wanted to get a different perspective, right? Because us guys, we like to drink a lot of stouts and different weird shit, and we always find these things with weird notes in it. But Jen, what are you drinking and smoking tonight?
Smoking Element Peach, Element Mango. I put in some Element Marors, and then I threw in 10% cane mint because I just can't get away from cane mint. In perspective, I think the peach and the mango from the Element line smells exactly the same as Darkside's Virgin Peach and Mango Lassie. In my opinion, it's honestly 10 times better because it's not super saturated. It doesn't leak into your bowl or your base water.
I mean, I think we have some crazy talking points. Are you drinking a crappy beer, Jen? Because I'm gonna put you on the spot here a little bit because that's kind of what we do. She goes, ooh, this tastes weird. But, you know, that was kind of like after a shot of tequila. So she's also taking tequila shots because
Okay,
Neve,
I
the
didn't
bad
take my tequila
influence.
shot because I was waiting for Paul.
Oh,
I thought we were
Uh-oh,
taking it together.
that's drop mic challenge right there.
Oh no, are we taking it right now?
Cheers. Let's
Okay,
go.
I have to have a chaser. Hold on.
Paul's
Chaser's
going
after.
straight from
That's
the
a
bottle.
prior.
Savage
Just did a
AF.
prior.
This is not savage, Jay.
so welcome to the hookah drinking and talking show where absolutely nothing at the end of the night tends to make sense.
No, but my beer. Okay, I'm not a big beer person. But this one isn't bad at all. It's a rosé. You're supposed to get hibiscus and prickly pear out of it. It's kind of sweet, but
So you're
You can
trying to
still-
match
you can
sweet
still
with
do
sweet
fruit.
and fruit with fruit. I get it. I
Yeah.
get it. It's
Fruit with
done.
fruit.
It's good.
don't strain.
It's a rosé. Don't make it fucking complicated. Just have fun with it. Mr. Smith.
Exactly.
Mr. Smith, the guy with the most complicated designs in bowl history as we try to make things simple, although they are beautiful and they work like exceptionally well. I had the opportunity to borrow the prototype for a while and get a chance to smoke out of it, but
That's what I'm smoking out of right now.
I'm going to go
Same bowl.
put my wet dreams away in the corner and I'm going to ask you, what are you drinking and smoking?
Well, before I get to that titular bit of information that I'm sure you're all waiting on the edge of your seats to hear, I had a question for Paul.
So
Paul, did you say that red berry smells like Halle Berry? Because if so, follow-up question, how do you know that information?
so there was a Halle Berry bush that used to grow in the back of my house when I grew up, and being a punk little kid, I would squeeze them. Right, I would smash them with my skateboard. So I would
We're
get
not
sent.
talking about the actress. We're talking about a bush.
Yeah, the Halle Berry bush. There's
I'm
little
just
red-
going to go on the
little
record
red
here and say
berry
Paul
bushes.
would say
It smells
something
like leather and
incriminating in a
Catwoman in here.
public forum.
Okay.
Fun fact: Halle Berry did do and study capoeira, so maybe I may or may not have met her.
Whoa. All right, touche.
Ooh.
Shots
I
fired.
am smoking some Darkside. It's a 70-20-10 split between Darkside Astro Tea, Darkside Lemon Blast, and Tangier's Cane Mint.
Ooh.
And I am, let's see, what am I drinking? I'm drinking a New Belgium triple. That
Nice.
shows up.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
a Belgian triple L. I've actually had that in the past, and it's actually a really solid Belgian ale from like a major brand. I guess I could consider them at this point, right?
Yeah, and apparently available at Walmart, as I just found out.
Walmart is carrying craft beer now. We gotta close the doors.
Um,
All the hipsters go home, shave your ponytail off, and take off your plaid. Okay, this is a non-hipster show.
That comment concerns me. I don't know how I feel. I'm uneasy now, Kyle.
Kurt, if you're watching this, everything will be okay. The world will not end tomorrow. I promise. So, Matt, we've talked about what we're drinking and what we're smoking, and it's like, yesterday was 2017 for some of us, getting Darkside in for the first time from Russia. 2016, 2017, you could find it on the forums, but not very often. Why are we doing this? Why are we looking at products outside of the United States? Is it just to hype or create bias around them? Because I noticed that you really wanted to talk about those things.
No, well, okay, so it's kind of a two-part question that you're asking, because the reality is, yes, we are talking about it to create hype, but we're creating hype around products that we believe in, right? Like, the biggest thing about hype is it can be negative, it can be positive, it can be all those things, and in between it as well. But the bigger part is we want to hype things that we are ourselves excited for. We ourselves are excited about these products. We want to share our thoughts and opinions. The reason why we're trying our best to go out of our way and get these sort of products into the American market so that we're able to talk about them is because we're enthusiasts, right? Like we went through the rigmarole of starting out with Hookah with Quick Lights and Nakla and Alfaker and Starbuzz and all those different things. And now we've moved on to that next step where we're like, well, what else is out there? That stuff that you can't normally get in the American market. And obviously, these are very Russian-based products, the Darkside and Element Tobacco. And we want to introduce people and talk about them here in the American market to get you guys excited for them. So that way, when they are available and you're able to get them, you have a good starting point as to where you can go to figure out exactly what it is that you might enjoy. Because without somebody like Paul telling you that red berry is like Holly Berry's bush, you would have to only, Holly Berry, not Holly Berry's bush.
No, I'm fine with that statement. Don't retract.
Without Paul, then you would never know that they're like Holly Berries. So we're here to help give out that sort of information in a fun, loving tone, and to give you our personal thoughts about it. You ask about bias a little bit. I'll be the first person to say that I believe in bias. I believe that you should navigate towards people that you also understand their taste buds a little bit. A lot of people know that I'm a sweet smoker. I like sweet sort of smokes and stuff like that. So if I'm telling you that I like this and it's sweet, you have a good place to already start your idea of what it is that I mean by that. Instead of being so afraid of what quote unquote biased means, let's use that as a stepping stone as to like, hey, this is another way that we can communicate, talk to one another, and have a way to navigate a conversation with one another, which I think is very important and sometimes kind of hard to do. I mean, does that kind of make sense a little bit, Jeremy?
I mean, you mean you're a sweet smoker, but I wouldn't go to you to like maybe recommend a herbal flavor, Matt? I mean, that just makes I'm going to wait for your response, but something screams fucking common sense to me.
Well, I will. I mean, all that works out really well in that same idea of I am a sweet smoker by habit. That is something that I really enjoy. So I think that when you're able to find somebody that has these sorts of preconceived taste buds alignments, that way we don't call it bias for whatever reason, then I think you're able to enjoy the thought patterns of what somebody else is able to see in another flavor. I love Astro Tea. It's one of my favorite flavors from Darkside as well. You already know that I'm a sweet smoker. So what does that mean about Astro Tea, right? That means that you can probably expect there to be some sort of sweetness inside of Astro Tea as well. So I can recommend herbal flavors, I can recommend floral flavors, but you still have that preconceived idea of what it is that I like about smoking hookah. It can help align people and give better direction into which way you might want to look when it comes to picking up a flavor.
Well, I'm going to kick over to David here in a minute, but I really never talked about what I'm smoking because I'm an idiot, right?
Because you're the leader. You're the one that is directing this whole thing. Hold on a second. Let me do this for you. Jeremy, I have to know, because the entire rest of the world is also very curious at the moment. What is it that you're smoking, and what are you drinking on today's episode of The Beer Garden?
Well, Matt Desind, after I sit up and down 13 times and mispronounce Halle Berry, I'm just kidding.
Hey, you can't mispronounce that bush, let's be honest.
I'm going with 40% cola, 40% Irish cream from Element, as well as 15% black currant, which they say currant, as well as 5% thyme and bergamot. And I wanted to pick up the herbalness. I wanted to pick up on the notes of more of along the lines of a vanilla-style European soda to mix the herbal flavors with the ice cream stout that I'm doing. This beer was gifted to me by Derek Moses. This is a fried ice cream stout by Flying Fish Brewing Company. It's an imperial stout brewed with vanilla ice cream, chocolate, and cinnamon. So I wanted to pick up some of those chocolatey herbal notes and, pull it into what I'm smoking. Basically almost like a pseudo root beer float.
Ooh. That sounds very interesting. Because you said Irish cream, and it would never be my first intention to mix Irish cream with cola. That seems like kind of an odd mixture of the sorts. And it led you that way because you're hoping to get like a root beer float? That's what you're saying?
A root beer float feeling between my beer and my hookah. So
I want to try this
a
mixture.
Possible thing.
Wow, that's interesting. I like that idea.
Well, David, you've done this with me time and time again. This is the first time we are out without our faithful producer, and I'm trying to produce this thing myself. So what are your thoughts, David? What is hype? What is bias to you? What does it mean to be a reviewer trying this stuff out? And how does that kind of fall into place with bias and, hype and being able to talk on this stuff in the groups? I mean, it's not hype. I mean, honestly, some of these flavors are like super solid.
I think I'm very similar to Matt. I think we actually even had this conversation before between all of us, right before this happened. Bias is something you need to know how to set aside, right? You can always compare something to another brand, this brand that you're loyal to, and that's not a problem because most people, if you're comparing something like Element to Tangiers, right? The U.S. basis understands Tangiers or they or Trifecta. So that's kind of what we have to compare to, right? A lot of cases with stuff like the hype, right? And the thing is, we all kind of agree sometimes hype is very much the wrong word because hype leads to overhype. And overhype, in my opinion, is very much a negative connotation of the word. You can't necessarily, when you overhype something, it means that it's let you down.
Well,
and that's something to me that's the big premise about things, right? Like any brand, if it's overhyped, there's a difference. If it's hyped, that is where the respect profile comes in. And the thing is, like, no one is trying to hype a brand to the point where it becomes overhyped. They're just giving their opinion. And whether it be biased, if they're reviewing solo brands, like, you know, what we might be doing with Darkside and Element, that's kind of the difference, right? Like if I'm going head to head and I have two hookahs next to me and one's going to be Trifecta peppermint shake with, I don't know,
24
red
carat.
lips. 24 karat red lips, something like that. And then I have another bowl that's like, I don't know, gonzo cake mixed with morose and red raspberry, right? Those are going to be completely different setups. And that's where you have to break that bias that exists.
Well,
because the thing is, like,
as a leader of a community, I get to try lots of different things. And a lot of times, you know, people who are well respected amongst the community get to try stuff before it's released and give feedback. And why is that? In my opinion, it's to, you know, go after not only the enthusiast market, but the enthusiast market has a better feel for what should a flavor taste like. I mean, you know, nobody's going to tell me what, you know, Midnight in Kentucky tastes like. It's going to be whatever the hell it wants to be. But if you name something like bergamot, or you name something like red berry or azure, you got apple cider, which just came out, Rio mint. I mean, those are indicators of a certain specific flavor. And they, in my opinion, they go after the enthusiasts, looking for the enthusiast feedback, because everybody that is a brand manager associated with a brand is going to say, oh, every flavor we had is the best flavor ever. Every this is the best ever. And it comes to a point to where it's like, oh my God, is it hype, or are these guys working for the brand, or, you know, whatever else? But a lot of times we get access to different things. So, you know, I don't know if it's a singular brand per se.
It's kind of the thing is, like, the manufacturers in themselves set aside bias by letting us get the opportunity to try things. Right, that is ultimately a good way to look at it, right? Because here's the thing: is if someone else tries Element and they hate it, right, that's just a difference in palate, right? That's a difference in what you expect certain flavors to do. And we had our meetup in Arizona. That's very much the thing: is we had a bowl of Heaven Leaf's watermelon, and then we had watermelon Halls, and everyone was like split between which one tasted more like watermelon. And that is why I think these brands go out there and introduce it, because, you know, yeah, you can have the best flavors out there, right? But the thing is, it's different when they say it compared to what the community says. And that's far from a negative aspect. I'm very much the person is that if you find a flavor that you like in a certain brand, you know, if you want to try other things, try them. But at the same time, like, you found that flavor stuck to you. That's like Matt and Static. Right, like it's something where, like, I can assure you, nearly always Matt will have Static.
It's very true. It's very true. I will always have Static Starlight.
I mean, Matt and Static, myself and Old School Watermelon. What is the David flavor that will never go away?
Tangiers Blueberry.
What is the
not
Paul
2005?
Silo? Just the original blueberry, right? What is the Paul Silo flavor? What is something that screams Paul Silo? I'm asking you, Paul.
Alpha Comma Passion Fruit, except I think I'm going to have a really hard time finding it in the future. Yeah. Because I think they're pulling out of the U.S. market.
What about
So
Kyle?
I'm sad by that. I need to find a replacement.
Paul
any
message me
brand
after
reps are
this.
listening?
Paul message me after this. I might note where some is.
Kyle or
Oh,
Jen,
okay.
is there something
Sweet.
that screams, this is Kyle as far as a hookah flavor?
Polar cream.
Yeah. Yeah, man. Up until recently, that spot had been reserved for Cashmere Peach, but Polar Cream has nudged its way in there. Those are my two.
What was it reserved for? I think you cut out.
Cashmere Peach was my original.
I remember smoking a bowl of K Peach with you last Christmas, and that is something I do not do often. That's like a one-time-a-year thing for me, and that's all I need. Jen, what is it for you that screams Jennifer when you think of a hookah flavor?
Tangiers, cane mint, straight.
And strawberry.
Dang, OG.
It's strawberry.
Oh, yeah,
if
no,
I
it's
want
good.
something different, but I usually have cane mint in every single bowl that I have.
Well,
As did everybody for like 10 years, right?
I mean, literally, it's like when it's good, it's good. Everybody's talking about it. When it's an enthusiast-based flavor, maybe the guys that are the enthusiasts are talking about it. When it's a new brand, the new guys are talking about it because that's their introduction to hookah. This is a mid, this is a high, this is a low. It's not hype, guys. It's like, this is what we enjoy, and that's okay. It's okay if you like something else. Don't let assholes on the internet dictate your hookah session. That is something that I've come up with and I've stood by for a very, very long time. It
The
is
only asshole that
perfectly
should dictate you is your own.
right. Because
Yeah, that guy makes me run sometimes, man.
Yep.
I mean, I'm really not wanting to talk about assholes tonight, but maybe this is like an after-hours session of the Beer Garden and Hangs. So, but why, guys? Why do you think, or why do you feel that it's important for us to try these products? And anybody can go.
I think it's important in some aspects. Like as enthusiasts, we're not the 90% of the population of hookah smokers, right? We're maybe 10%, maybe 2, right? We're maybe 2% of the hookah smokers out there in the United States. And the fact that with that, we're also the pickiest, right? We have the most, since we smoke every day, multiple bowls a day, we're going to have the most opinionated assumptions and or feedback of these brands, of these flavors, because it's hookah's our life. It's just like that kid, he was like talking about Chipotle is his life. Chipotle is my life. Dude, this is us. This is what we do. We smoke hookah. We support the brands that we love the flavor profiles associated with. We go out of our way to import these products from overseas just so we can try them out, because this is what we do.
I think
So I think that's why it's important for us to give feedback on some of these things. I don't necessarily think it's hype. I think it would be more of, it is excitement, and we are excited about receiving the flavors and trying new things. I don't necessarily try to rub it in people's faces if they can't get access to it. And if they message me, or I know if they message anybody, we'll try to lead them towards the right direction so they can access it. The thing that leads them away from that is like, oh, these guys go through a lot of work to get these flavors into their hands. Like the import fees, the taxes, all of the stuff, the wait periods, sometimes it's 60 days, right? Before we get our hands on things.
It took me 4 months to get
It's a
stuff in
game
from
that we
Germany.
love.
It took me
It's like
4 months.
headhunting. It's like collection hunting, right? For a lot of us. So I think there's a difference when you're talking to an enthusiast and you're talking to somebody else that's just like, oh, I go to a lounge and smoke occasionally, or I'll smoke a bowl like maybe once every 2 weeks. There's a big difference between that.
There's a huge difference.
I think that's where it is. And I get where there's some opinion-based stuff out there and people fight about like different things, and all I can tell them is like, look, it's a really good time to be an enthusiast right now. We have so much stuff to talk about. We have so much stuff that's out in the market for us to grab and choose and purchase. That's never happened in the 16 years I've been smoking hookah.
Yeah.
I mean,
when I
The free
started
market that we
smoking-
have right now, with the products, the brands, the creativity that's coming out, I've never seen it before.
Yeah. When I
Matt
started,
you can
yeah,
take a look
exactly.
at Matt's like YouTube videos from 10 years ago. Matt's been in the game forever, right? From Starbuzz, Haze to all of this stuff.
I mean, I think you
Right.
even did a review that you've since kind of pulled off of your personal channel, Matt. But if I remember properly, I think one of your first reviews was Blue Mist.
I don't know if I think a long time ago I might have had a review of Blue Mist on something that I'd done, but like that's like all that we had back in the day. Like our choices of tobacco to smoke was a little bit of Nakla, a little bit of Alfaka, a little bit of Starbuzz, and then you had a little bit of Fantasia over here and a little bit of Fumari over here. But like you didn't have these craft and artisan brands that we do nowadays. We didn't have Trifecta. We didn't have Ugly. We didn't have Hooked on Hookah Hooked on Hookah. Like we didn't have any of this sort of stuff. Like all we had was the most basic ideas of what to smoke in our tobacco and stuff. And it really has changed. Like the culture of hookah smoking in general has changed a lot. Like it's changed from being this thing. You can look at it in the same sense as like cigars and pipe tobacco and stuff like that. You want to enjoy the experience and you want to quote unquote, I don't want to sound like I'm fucking like eating my own ass or something, but like you want to level up the game a little bit. But that's the thing is we want to enjoy our sessions in a different way than like the same way you drink a nice wine or you drink a nice whiskey or you drink a great beer. Like we don't all want to drink Budweiser anymore. We want to drink something that's a little bit different, a little bit nicer, if you will.
I think that comes with the territory of how things grow too.
Agreed.
Right. So, I mean, I think I don't know how long Jen's been in the game or Kyle's been in the game, but like I'm about 7 years right now. And it's very much the same as I remember the day Fumari hit the shelves for Arizona distribution. Right. And we weren't talking like $8.99 for 100 grams like it is now. Right. We're talking I had to spend $22 for 100 grams. Right. And that is the level difference, right? Is that a lot of enthusiasts are willing to spend a little more and risk a little more for something that they ultimately have never tried and may not like. Mm-hmm. And I think that's what's allowed us to grow and why these other brands come out here is because a lot of the times, like, look, if you have a shit pipe, right, or a shit flavor, people are still going to smoke it. It just might not be followed by the same pretenses that some brands that you see today have. They might not have the loyalty of Trifecta or Tangiers or Azure. And I think that's the big difference is you establish these brand loyalties over time that just create a connection within the community. You could have a person that you've never met before, that's never seen the AM Hookah podcast, that's never seen Jeremy and I drinking beer or watching Kyle spin or even seen Jen's foil, right? Or Paul and his glove-based warfare that he likes to partake in. But the thing is, right, they could walk up to you at the expo and they could be smoking this flavor and you could be like, this flavor is fire. I love this flavor. And that's automatically a connection. That's something that you take outside the hookah enthusiasts and Hookah University and the groups, and it's harder to find that connection.
For me, trying from something from another country is part of the experience. Like when I tried Frigate for the first time, I reached out to Sergey Putkov from Frigate. He owns Frigate, part of Rubel and Company from Russia. And it's very interesting to try and, you learn more about their culture. You learn more about the people. And it's not this CNN version of Mother Russia trying to take over the world, right? These guys are friendly. They're just like normal people. Once you take the politics out of the bullshit, you just reach a level of humanity that is really, really awesome. And you start to learn kind of different flavor profiles, right? If a US brand was to release like a basil flavor or a thyme and bergamot flavor, everybody would lose their fucking shit and the brand would be trashed the next day. I will tell you this because it is not something that normal US smokers smoke, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, we are much more akin to not only like sweet flavors in general for like the U.S. market kind of taste buds and stuff like that, but we're also really akin to things like sex on the beach. We want things that we feel comfortable with. American smokers, in comparison to out of country smokers, the biggest thing that I've noticed in differences to those sorts of things, I feel we want to feel comfortable with what it is that we're about to smoke. We want to have some sort of preconceived basis as to what it's going to taste like before we get into it. Like we have an idea of what basil tastes like from cooking and what we eat and stuff like that. But the concept of like smoking that seems very foreign to us because it's something that we think of as like an afterthought or as like a secondary type flavoring, nothing that you would actually want to enjoy on its own. And even though basil is a mixing flavor more than it is like you smoke it by itself or anything like that, it still seems kind of like out of the ordinary to kind of throw into a bowl and stuff. That's something that I think is really exciting when it comes to the overseas market is the type of flavor profiles, as you're saying, they introduce to us. They allow us to kind of get that more comfortable feeling into again because we see other people enjoying it from other areas of the world, which is something that I don't, in a very closed circle, it's hard to find that all the time. So it's cool to see other people enjoying different things so that you're able to kind of ask those kinds of questions. You know, that's a big part as to why I think every one of us does the kind of stuff that we do is we enjoy having conversations about smoking hookah. And when you're able to find somebody else that's also interested in having conversations about smoking hookah, then you're able to branch off and get into much deeper conversations. And it doesn't all have to be the simple, like, who has the best strawberry flavor of all the hookah tobacco? It's like, well, fuck the strawberry. Let's talk about something exciting. Let's talk about
that accent, though.
I mean, it wasn't anyone in particular.
Is that Idaho potatoes?
Really gets
wow. No,
dude. So there's a thing, right? Like when you look up hookah and it's about, a lot of the verbiage that's out there on the internet is like, oh, hookah is is usually done in family gatherings. It's usually done to bring people together. So when there's a lot of people that are now speaking out and kind of creating controversy and infighting and stuff, I always take it to the I always take a little side note of it and be like, this is anti what hookah is about, right? This is supposed to bring people together. It's supposed to bring people to the table to have a conversation and to talk, not create arguments and artificial warfare on the internet. So
that is an awesome title for the next Call of Duty.
So the other thing, I got it because I was thinking about modern warfare.
Yeah, I got you. I got you.
It all goes around.
The other thing with it too is like as enthusiasts, right? Like in I do some martial arts. Okay, so in capoeira we have a thing where an advanced student in capoeira, say a professor level player or competitor in this martial art, will always find the beginner, right? And play down to their level, and then elevate it just a little bit to push that person to becoming a little bit better. Because if you are this top level enthusiast or martial artist or whatever, and you continue to just bully and not let people excel or grow into your community, then at the end of the day, you're going to be the only one at that level, and nobody's going to either want to train with you or smoke with you or whatever else. And I feel the same way with hookah university and the culture. Like if you're not there and these people, these community leaders are not teaching you correctly and are teaching you either to cyberbully or oppress people or make fun of people or do any of that other stuff, it's not growing the community in a positive manner at all.
Mm-hmm. And so, Bob
so
just
we
said
wouldn't
something.
we wouldn't be where we're at right now if the people that were in the top didn't grow us into what we are right now.
And Bob just made the point that it didn't start in lounges, right? We might have all
It didn't start in lounges.
We might have all started at lounges, right? In one way, shape, or form. But when you started making those connections with people, like I remember when I first joined Hookah Enthusiast, right? Like, and that first real connection came into play. Right, that is when I started looking at hookah, I think, in a completely different light.
I mean, we're talking about, we are literally branching the entire span of the country. Myself from the St. Louis area, David from the Phoenix area, Jen from Southern California, Matt from the Idaho area around Boise, I do believe, Paul, Bay Area, and Kyle, you're out in Virginia area, if I am correct, right?
Close. Yeah, just south of that in North Carolina.
So we're talking about 2,000 miles of difference, and we're talking about a lot of people who talk almost on the daily, right, about hookah or sharing some stupid meme, sharing a piece of your family, wishing someone a Merry Christmas, something that transcends the politics, it transcends racial barriers, it transcends everything, right? You're talking something that literally is not biased whatsoever, and the little bit of bias that we have is due to our own personal taste preferences, whether we like something sweet, tart, fruity, nutty, earthy, minty. I mean, it really is something that transcends. Jen, have you had a chance to share any of the element that you've gotten with local friends or friends out in the area?
Oh, absolutely. I have people that come in as regulars, personal friends of mine that aren't as big into hookah, but they come here to hang out. They'll try my bowl and they're like, oh my God, it's the best thing I've ever tasted. Like the sweeter flavors, like what I'm smoking now, the mango and the peach, they'll say that it stays on their lips and they can just taste it throughout their next bowl. And I'm like, wow, that's great. Like, thanks for the feedback. It's a lot of, Neve has her certain flavors that she likes. Ron likes the flavors that I make. Same thing. They all agree that it's something different. It's good. Nothing that they've really had before.
What about you, Kyle or Paul or Matt or David? I mean, I know that David, you said that you did a tasting and we heard about that earlier, but
I'll be the last to answer on this.
Like on the Darkside side of things, have you guys really gotten a chance to like either, give some away to some friends and have them try it? Or what's the thing that you're hearing from them on a consistent basis, right?
The most exciting thing for me is when I get to share my tobacco with my friends, especially my local friends. Like when I get to have people come over to my house and hang out in my front room or hang out in my new office and stuff and like smoke this stuff, and I get to pull it out of the corner and I get to be like, hey, this is Russian tobacco. This is straight from Russia. This is something that like I've introduced you guys. We've smoked lots of different things all the time, but like now I get to give you something that is like something even different for me. And that's super exciting to be able to share that kind of passion with them as well. The one big takeaway that a lot of them have said so far is they like the saturated taste to a lot of these flavors. Like they have the stronger sort of tasting to a lot of the flavors. I think the Mango Lassie is a good showcase of that. Like there's a lot of really good mangoes on the market. There's even mango flavors that I like more than Mango Lassie, for instance. But like everyone that's tried the Mango Lassie, they're always like, wow, this is like a really good mango flavor. Like this is above those other mango flavors that we've tried and stuff. Things like Supernova, which is something completely different than just a regular mint flavor. It's straight menthol, it's straight cold flavor. And for the guys, gosh, it's so cold, I can feel it. Job like that's a fun and exciting experience to be able to share with people. I mean, I've shared stuff over the communities online, sent them to different states. I've been able to share just local here to my friends and stuff. And that's really cool to be able to offer something that's not only new to me, but be able to share that with somebody in the same room and have that kind of talking point. I think that's really cool.
And it's kind of really cool at the same aspect that you can sit down with your friends and it doesn't matter if they're super duper ultra super extra smoker that they smoke hookah 9,900 times a day. They can still appreciate the flavor for what it is. Paul and Kyle.
Oh yeah, absolutely.
Oh yeah, man. It's funny, Matt, that you brought up those two flavors because those are the only two flavors I've had an experience sharing with people outside of the normal hookah community that I circle in. So we just moved into a new house in June, and our neighbor next door invited me over.
Rude, Paul?
I told him I smoke hookah. He's like, yeah, come on over, sit out on the porch and drink. This guy runs his own vape juice shop out of his house, so like he's well acquainted with flavors. And I brought over the Mango Lassie, and it just floored him, man. Like he hadn't smoked hookah, he said, since college, and he was just like, "Holy crap, this is almost better than what I remember," which was probably Alfacher. But,
Probably.
Not to make assumptions. And he's been hounding me to come back over ever since. And the other one was Supernova. My good friends who I went to Hugh with the first year. He is a mint head.
Randy, right?
Yeah, Randy.
Yeah, nailed it.
So I introduced Randy to Supernova about like 2-3 months back, and it was hilarious. Like I was just watching like a hawk taking that first inhale. Eyes just went bugged out, and then he coughed his lungs out, and then he smiled, and he was like, "This is my shit."
I mean, most people that have had the chance to try Darkside and Element are fans of what they are. I know that Paul has tried both on the dark side of the things, on the dark side, of things.
On the dark side.
So, Paul, what's your experience? I know you've had a chance, just us talking, to share with friends and fellow colleagues per se to the university. What's your experience been thus far? What is the consistent thing that you're hearing? And I'm just curious as to why you're Thanos all of a sudden.
Tony said to make myself purple, so now I'm purple.
guys, remember now. Paul is shots deep at this point.
What? I don't drink that often, so I
It's
may
always
or
a
may
good
not
time
be
when
kind
Paul
of not drunk, or am I?
Maybe
So Darkside, I just wanted to try it because it was like new. I just wanted something new, right? I wanted something new, and I was like, man, I've been smoking 10 years for like the last 8 years or whatever it was. I was like, and all these other brands. So I was like, I want something new. So I was like, okay, how do I get my hands on new stuff? What's going on overseas? And then I finally, months and months into it, got some, right? From some Russian friends of ours over in Chicago. They helped me out with that. So I got my hands on some, and I was like, oh man, this is so different than what I'm used to, right? It was just such a different flavor profile than what the American market had in current stock, that I was interested in it, that I wanted to experience more of it. So I was like, okay, how much is it? I was like, oh, well, it's a little bit expensive, but let me go back to a previous hobby, which was cigars. And I was like, well, I'm paying 10 sticks, for almost $400 on a cigar, right? On a good cigar box, right? And 10 sticks, a stick will get me 2 hours smoking time, right? And what does 250 grams get you? 250 grams on a 15-gram bowl, on a 20-gram bowl, that's 15, 18 sessions of 2 to 3 hours if you're doing it right. So I was like, and that's $20.
Yeah.
Right? So if I go out of my way and I import this stuff and it costs me $40 for $250, it's still cheaper than buying a box of cigars, and I'm still getting more out of it.
Yep.
So I started importing it, and I was like, okay, I'm good with this. I'm fine with this. There's a risk there, but I've logically in my head, or in my crazy point of view, I justified my purchase. Mm-hmm. Right. So after I justified my purchase, started trying it. I'm still in love with this stuff, man. It's been almost 2 years I've been smoking this.
I mean, a lot of us have tried it.
And they introduced different flavor profiles that is just not there yet. Trifecta's doing a good job of catching up. I'll tell you that. Trifecta, Tangiers with their new flavors, they're doing a good job. But they're not providing that different notes that we're looking for. From the Calamansi to the Belgian waffle to the red tea. I still don't think there's a tea in the American market that can stand next to Astro tea and red tea.
No.
I mean,
I'm close.
I'm talking about strength of profile here. So if we look at strength of profile, Tangiers is kind of third on the list right now, with Azor sitting in second. And I feel that for the American market, Trifecta still has the number one spot. Is strength of profile and flavors.
Oh, for sure, hands down. I mean, there's a special spot since I've been since Trifecta has been out for so long. They've kind of my palate has acclimated to them. So anytime I'm smoking Tangiers, there's some nights where I'm like, I just need Tangiers tonight. There's nothing else. I need some Tangiers. I need some orange soda or Static Starlight. Or
it's
some cashmere peach.
If you smoke Tangiers, you're going to get the tobacco notes. That's what it is.
Yeah.
That's what Tangiers is.
And we grew up with it too. And
that's okay. And that's great. Tangiers has done a phenomenal job of recovering after the soy sauce batch. If any of you were lucky enough to get any of those, you know what it meant. But the cherry limeade, man, that's where it was at for me, I'm talking about the new flavors between cherry limeade and wintergreen. Fucking phenomenal goddamn job.
Goddamn root beer.
Yeah, dude, that root beer got me good.
That was the very first time I smelled it. I was like, this isn't wintergreen.
So before that, man,
this is a lie.
Dude, before that, the only root beer I was smoking was Starbucks vintage root beer.
And it's good.
Yeah,
wait, you never got a hold of Hookah Freak root beer?
No, I haven't.
Oh my god, it was so
And
good.
I know I tasted. I had a sample baggie of the Alchemist root beer, but I just never went back to it.
Have
So.
any of
Where
you guys?
does
Go ahead, Kyle.
Angier's a Lilia?
Wintergreen's a better root beer.
What is it? Yeah.
Wintergreen is root beer. Soliloquy. I'm surprised I can pronounce it.
Holyoke.
Ololiwoku.
Yeah, see, it's a game. It's a game.
I mean, do
David-
you consider that
Go ahead, Kyle.
Mountain
Say
Dew?
that again, Kyle.
Do you consider that to be a root beer flavor? Because I had someone tell me Mountain Dew right before I smoked a bowl once, and I could not untaste it.
Mountain Dew. I get a little bit of that, and I also get a little bit of like winter fresh gum with it. But I get more like as it aged. I started tasting a little bit of the root beer. So I mean,
go ahead.
I still have a couple bowls left on that pack, so it might be different now.
So, David, you've had a chance to share this at one of your local meetups. What was the reception to Element in your case?
Well, so my reception actually is Darkside and Element, right? Because I started getting Darkside before a lot of this popped up because of the Hookah battle.
2017,
Right, the first
if I'm
year
correct.
The first one, right? So yeah, 2017. I was one of the teams, and I had Lemon Blast, and Lemon Blast was fire, right? But the thing is, like, I didn't know how to pack it. I wasn't smart about it. I burnt the hell out of it, and I was like, oh, cool. I need to reconsider whether or not I like this brand. And I was like, you know what? No, it's got to be me. It's not the brand, right? It's like it's more people are hyping it. Jen, take a shot. He called you out.
All right, fine,
so the
fuckers.
thing, the funny thing about all of this, right, is that like my exposure to the local lounge that I go to isn't necessarily just Element, right? There are people who I see quite regularly who are regulars at that lounge, and they've made the affiliation with me that if I'm smoking there, I have something special. That is 100% what it is. And that to me is where it becomes important. I'll have people come in and be like, hey, you got that Russian shit? Hey, like speak up. And it's not a joke, right? And it's one of those things is that when we did the meetup, we packed watermelon halls for JD Mack. And it was the pack I gave him. I was like, we're gonna smoke a bowl here, the rest is yours. Right? And 3.5 hours easily is how long he was on that bowl. And
Intermission.
I got a message like,
hold on. Jen, are you
taking
dying?
a shot too?
Are you dying, Jen? And Ding Dong Paul.
Yeah.
I took a shot.
Ding Dong Paul.
Another one?
Cheers.
I'll take a shot.
This is where the battle royale, guys.
I'll do
Wait, this is
another
where the battle
This
royale
is-
portion comes in. It's who hits the floor first: Jen, Paul, or Jeremy.
Okay, it's
think
gonna
Kyle's
be me.
gonna
I'm lightweight.
Wait a minute.
Cheers.
We are a hookah organization with a drinking organization. I mean, problem.
Cheers.
We could be both. We can have a drinking organization problem.
All right, listen to
In
this.
which case, I don't know how to
Yeah.
organize my drinks first.
Bring
Is
out-
probably the problem.
Are we taking another shot?
Oh wait, did you guys see my shirt? Look at this.
It's the
Yeah,
most
I told
wonderful
you you
time
need to
for a
send
beer.
it to me. It lights up. You're sending it to me. David, real quick, Watermelon Halls is Element, and it's kind of a menthol watermelon flavor. It's really, I do not smoke watermelon, and I've actually really enjoyed it. Go, Jen, go.
Oh,
Can't be sneaky.
Welcome to the dark side, Jen.
My
So-
girlfriend's gonna come home from work and I'm gonna be passed out on the couch. This is gonna be great.
Okay, so
red cheeks and all feeling the full force of Santa's mercy.
when we talk
no,
about a
so-
brand, we know that it's not biased because a lot of people, when they get something new, it sounds like, also are sharing with their friends and take that into consideration as well. Am I stating fucking facts correctly here? I mean, is this not a goddamn fact?
Facts.
I will straight up tell you, my friends have straight up been like, "Hey, how do I get this shit?"
Facts.
Right? Like if it was me hyping it, they wouldn't say that.
I mean, I'm just being honest here. I mean, it's maybe the liquor talking a little bit because I haven't eaten all day, but you know,
Got
it's
some leftover turkey ready, Bubba?
Oh, I got more than turkey, baby. I got pie and I got bread. I got all the things that are going to make
Pumpkin
a fat
cheesecake?
person happy. Yes, I do have pumpkin cheesecake. I have pumpkin pie, I have
Pumpkin
cheesecake, and I have pumpkin cheesecake, baby.
I'm
Okay.
coming over.
I mean,
Everyone book flights right now. There are about 18 people viewing right now. Flights to St. Louis. Yeah.
Okay. Well, I want to tell everybody, for our first live broadcast, I was thinking, maybe it'd be low, maybe it'd be high. Who fucking knew what was going to come up? But I want to say thank you to all those people that are kind of sticking around, listening to us ramble about hookah shit. And, it's going to be fun. 2020 is going to be the year of fun shit. And I want to know from anybody here, have you had a chance to try Daily Hookah from Darkside? That is another subsidiary from Darkside. And I want to know if you tried it and what your thoughts are if you have.
I have not.
I have.
I haven't.
I have.
We were sneaky at the expo.
Kyle,
weren't
did you
we?
try some? Did you try some of the Dimension?
No.
Yeah.
No, I don't think
Really?
So to be fair though, the stuff at the mansion disappeared quick.
Which
The only
brand
reason,
did?
the only,
we
the
had
only,
the blueberry
Yeah.
crumble.
Blueberry
the
crumble.
only reason I got it is
I mean-
because I was sitting with Brandon and I was like, oh shit, I don't want to pass the handle right now. Like,
That blueberry crumble tasted like it was like a blueberry muffin with like the sugar coating on top of the muffin.
Right.
And it was just crumbling into your mouth. That was very good stuff.
and the cut on it, right? It's such an Americanized cut. Like
I didn't
everyone
get
will
to
be
see-
familiar with it.
I didn't get to see the cut of it. I only smoked the bowl of it. I didn't get to see any of the tobacco or anything, but it tasted phenomenal.
I'm so mad I didn't get to see any of you guys at the
Hey,
party.
I saw you. You didn't say hi. I tried introducing. I did.
You did?
I was at the Azure booth for like 45 minutes because of
Oh
Wayne.
yeah, I remember you, and I thought you were an asshole, so I wasn't really.
Hey, I am.
I mean, it
It's
is
okay,
fair.
I am.
It is fair,
Look,
right?
I
am.
usually am, but since I was working for another company, I wasn't going to be rude. But I don't remember half of you guys at the expo.
I mean,
That's great. I mean, I said hello, but it doesn't matter. Jeremy, what do you think about talking about some of the mixes that we've done with these brands of tobacco and some of the stuff that we may have been finding a little bit interesting in our findings about mixing these tobaccos, either with its own counterpart, like Darkside with Darkside, or maybe even doing some like Darkside and Tangiers or Element in Tangiers for Jennifer's sake and stuff like that. What are some differences that we've noticed about how it mixes with other tobaccos in other markets and stuff? Have you guys noticed anything different in that terminology?
Nothing different. Paul introduced me to a mix that I smoked it for a week straight after he told me about it.
Dude, it's good.
It's so good. It was Dark Side, Red Tea, and Cashmere Peach.
Ooh, red tea and cashmere peach. That sounds like it'd be very interesting.
Yeah.
wow. Is that like a dark side blend?
Okay, so what happens with the thing is the red tea.
It's
has
a thing,
spices
all right? It's
that
a thing.
counteract
It
the
is
floral
completely
notes
a
from
fucking
the
thing.
cashmere, and they do this thing where they're like
You see,
like
when a
that.
man loves a woman.
that.
When a
It's now time
man.
for the conversation of the birds and the bees, featuring Paul Silao with the thing and the thing.
The thing and the thing. So the spices from the red tea and the florals from the cashmere peach do the thing like this.
I mean, really, we are 18
And
over
then-
in channel.
and then
so-
it's like-
It's like
Magic.
Is it like this, Paul?
No, like this.
Okay,
They
it's a
meld.
happy.
They
okay.
meld
They
together.
Hey,
meld.
that is some
Okay.
very extreme topics we should not talk about.
I've
It's
been
like
doing some
the
pretty
docking
interesting
of
mixes
flavors.
with Darkside tobacco. I've been doing some pretty interesting mixes that I've really become very fond of, honestly. Like there's been some really cool stuff. Just this one that I've done recently has been in my bowl every single evening that I've been smoking is this red berry and this Genesis raspberry. I think they mix so well together. But another one that I've really fallen in love with is actually it's a green mist, which is green mist is a really good flavor. If you've ever had Smirnoff Ice, like honestly, it tastes exactly like
I'm
Smirnoff Ice.
icing you at the next expo.
I
am so icing you at the next expo.
I don't even like
What is
Smirnoff
icing?
Ice all that much.
I am-
But
I am-
green-
Drive
Green
this way.
mist.
I have
Better on
some
it?
green mist,
Matt,
David.
every
Green
day
mist
we
is
are
very
gonna
good.
ice you. It'll be
What is it?
wonderful.
What is icing? Like, is that cake
just
batter?
Giving
You're gonna give him
some.
cake batter.
Oh my god!
It's when you basically propose with a Smirnoff Ice.
Okay,
Why?
we're not
Doesn't have
talking
to
about
buy it.
baby batter.
Can't
Okay,
buy that part.
Is that a millennial
not.
thing?
We are not
You're a
talking
millennial.
about
What are you
baby
talking
batter on this
about?
podcast.
You are definitely a millennial. I hate to break it to you. But green mist
Okay,
with red
boomer,
tea.
calm the fuck down. Okay.
Green mist with red tea is just a phenomenal mix because of the same reasons that kind of Paul was alluding to when it comes to cashmere and red tea. But you get the opposite sides of the spectrum coming together as one, and it really mixes to be something very special. Some of the other stuff that I've done, even with the cookie and the nuts, has been very good. Cookie nuts, and then also polar cream has been very good. Space dessert with cookie and nuts as well has been very good. Space dessert is a tiramisu flavor that's been super interesting. And then doing a little bit of trifecta mixing with Darkside. They mix so well together because, as we were saying, trifecta is a very strong tasting tobacco, and they mix super well together. I've been really enjoying the ability to mix these different tobaccos and really getting them along very nicely.
Can I make a small
Hello,
awesome point
everybody.
about
It's
Trifecta?
Tita.
Feel free.
Trifecta is also one of the only brands I know that if you have a problem, they'll fix it.
Yeah, very.
That is something that I ultimately have respect for with Trifecta, is that the first time I ever had an issue with a batch, Musk pulled my information out of his database and overnighted me a shipment of Pulp Friction the next day. Right? Like, I didn't say I wanted something new. I thought it was all me. And next day I have a new 250 of Pulp Friction. Like, there is no one that I knew about the time that would have done that. And that's where one of the reasons I have such a loyalty to Trifecta.
Loyalty
They take care of
trifecta.
you.
I feel the same. Moose is absolutely phenomenal about fixing anybody's issue. You don't have to be famous on the internet. You don't have to be anything and anybody. All you have to do is reach out to Trifecta Tobacco, and he will fix it. He's an honest businessman that wants to put proper flavor in your hands. If you don't like it because of taste preference, that's fine. But if it tastes like soap or butthole, he will replace it. Trust me. I mean, it's literally like
butthole flavor.
Paul, I will get back to that. Second thing is mixes regarding Darkside.
Check us out afterwards on the Hookah Hangs whereby to learn what butthole tastes like.
45% red tea.
It's gross.
Sorry, folks. We have entered the digression of the part of this podcast, which is part of the
That's the
fun.
wonderful thing. We
Cheers.
enter sober and leave fun.
Cheers, everybody. Let's
Paul, you have
drink.
to take another shot.
What?
You have to take another shot. I just took one.
Are you
Okay.
serious?
Mhm.
We're doing shot for shot.
Paul, here we go.
We only got 5. Oh man, we'll take
Hey,
another
so
shot. if we get
I will
10
say,
likes.
do we want to move on past the 1.5 hour time mark? Because I feel like we're having a lot of fun here.
We are only at 1 hour and 9 minutes
Oh,
for your information, David.
I know. I'm preparing, sir.
I do want to say, back to the subject of Element and Darkside, I'm excited for both brands to come in the United States so that everybody can try them. And so that they can see that what we're talking about is not necessarily just hyping a product up or whatever the connotation is. Because I don't feel like that's what we're doing. We're just talking about what we like to smoke. I mean, at least I am. I know that.
You
Like,
know,
if
I
I
think
ever,
that.
like,
Hold on. I
talk
think
about
with
something-
the number of people we have here, the battle royale portion of this is debunking the bullshit that has been said over the last 6-8 months, a year in the U.S. hookah market, right? And we are all.
What's the bullshit? Because if you're mentioning
hold
high
on.
fructose corn syrup,
I am not going to go into details, but I am going to go into details here for a minute because you know what? Fuck it. It's YouTube, right?
Yes.
So
Fuck it.
here we go.
Fucking Paul with
So
his dance.
we're looking at Paul
Chat,
dancing.
make a gif.
Go, Jeremy, go, Jeremy, go.
Make a gif, please.
You know, in
No,
most
nobody
European
clip that.
countries. No, hold on. This is a valid point. In most European countries, high fructose corn syrup is a fucking ban. I've heard some bullshit regarding high fructose corn syrup and something you're gonna smoke. It's not like they have 50-gallon drums laying around at every fucking warehouse waiting for corn syrup to become unbanned and it's readily available. Why would you spend more money to make a product than you have to when you have the materials available right there to you? I mean, we're talking about quality materials like blackstrap molasses, organic honey, regular honey, of course, right? And it's just simple. It's It's simple, and I don't know why it has to be not so simple. Now,
because here's the thing: is that people don't want to accept that the American market's the only one who subsidizes corn or high fructose corn syrup. No one wants to accept the fact that you're more likely to smoke an American brand that contains high fructose corn syrup than a foreign brand.
but it's annoying to hear somebody talk out their asshole, right?
Well,
Absolutely.
Well, I mean, granted, the person or the people, actually no, it's just person. The person you're talking about is a known person that wants to get paid by brands.
No, hold on. I'm not
Specifically-
even saying that. I don't want to go into people. I'm just saying that it's bullshit that this is even a thing. That it's even a mention of a thing. And maybe it's because people don't have the overall picture of a worldview, right? We in America are a fat fucking country, right? And why is that? It's because of corn syrup and other artificial ingredients. But it's kind of annoying that you see things and you see people that just toss things over the fence and wait for them to stick, right? I'm not going to go into the blends of what element is because I don't fucking know, right? I'm not going to tell you that it's 20% Burley and 80% Virginia because I don't know. I'm going to tell you it's fucking good because it's good, right?
The difference between that is the person that you're talking about right now believes that anything that spews out of their mouth is fact. So
wait, I don't speak in facts?
yeah, apparently, an opinion is not a fact.
Opinion is
I don't
not
know
a
if
fact,
you knew
right?
that.
I will say, if anyone has joined in now, I think you need to watch from the beginning so you can see the slow escalation of us go from normal to fun.
To normal Paul to drunk Paul.
Well, I would like
Not
to
even there
welcome Captain Wetbeard to the chat. He's always been a great supporter of HU and a personal friend of mine. And I want to say hello to
fucking love
Captain
Austin.
Wetbeard because he's an Austin, amazing human being and a normal fucking person. And thank God for those people because there's a lot of people that I'm thankful for around Thanksgiving. And hello to drunk fucking Paul, right?
Austin.
Oh my goodness, this has been
Where's
this is fantastic.
Hey Matt, I have a question for you. Do you want to
I got an
open your
answer.
second beer?
I already have, and I've already started to drink it. I have a question for everybody in this little room that we have going on at the moment. I'd like to know what has been your favorite flavors when it comes to these different brands of tobacco. I think if we could rattle off maybe 3 of our favorite flavors to kind of direct people into a certain direction once they have the ability, or if they would like to even ask. Not saying anything in particular, but hey, you see me in the groups all the time. Never hesitate to ask questions to people. But if you guys have a top 3, let's say, of these tobacco flavors when it comes to Darkside or Element, what would they be, Kyle? What is your top 3 flavors from Darkside Tobacco? If I can put you on the spot real quick.
Boring person first. Holy cream.
What? Excuse me. You're not boring.
Holy
Kyle,
cream.
God damn it. Be interesting. I called you on the show for a reason.
Kyle, wait, have you been drinking out of the mug?
That was me
Wait,
trying to
I
get
wanna
things
do
back
something.
on track and then instantly getting just tossed the fuck off.
I am sorry,
Yeah.
but Matt, I am bigger than you. I will derail this train every day.
It'd be interesting. I'll pull a piece of roll that I've made while I give you my answer.
Oh,
Excuse me while I go off camera.
Hey,
But-
Kyle, dibs.
My favorite.
Hey, David,
flavors
fuck
from
you.
Darkside
Go ahead, Kyle. Go
I'm
ahead.
sorry, Kyle. I'll stop.
Yeah, go ahead. I'm listening.
Thank you. She's listening, Savage J. And
You're welcome.
your place. Oh, Mango Lassie.
Mango Lassie.
I heard
Okay.
I heard the first one, which is Polar Cream. I heard the last one, which was Mango Lassie. What was your number 2, do you think?
What I'm smoking right now, Astro Tea.
Astro Tea, so good. So very good.
Astro Tea is really good.
Yeah. What about you,
Kyle?
Paul?
Kyle gave me a mix of Astro Tea that you guys need to try out. I posted it maybe 2 or 3 days ago. It's Astro Tea, Lemon Blast, and Cane Mint.
Oh, that's what I'm smoking.
I smoked that for 3 hours the other day, 2 days in a row actually.
Nice.
It's good. It's good. So my top 3 for Darkside, I would say Mango Lassie because I like mango flavors. But my palate kind of fluctuates seasonally. I think every 2 or 3 months, where like, oh, I really like this flavor, and I'll smoke nothing but that flavor note. So mango was one of those. Right now, currently is strawberry. So I'm waiting for the wild forest that's going to come out, which is a wild strawberry from Darkside. That's out next month. I pre-ordered mine already. The other ones that I like from Darkside is red tea. And I think a staple of it, it's not really a flavor, more of a additive, is Supernova.
It's
And
hard.
only because it enhances the bowl with some coldness.
Yeah.
Yeah, it does.
Right? It doesn't do
absolutely does.
anything to the flavor profile. It doesn't do anything to add additional notes to the thing. It just makes it cold.
Yeah, it's like when you put ice cubes into a drink. Like that's honestly what it does.
Yeah.
Like it takes everything down just a notch in temperature. And it's hard for me not to want to include Supernova on my top 3 because I feel like it's one of those flavors that is the most like relevant of all the different flavors in a lot of way because it's the most different. Like I think basil is very different on its own. I think needles is very interesting as well. I think that nuts is very good as well. Cookies good. Ice cream's okay. Fruity Dust is okay. The one sitting in front of me right now, Dark Mint, is actually an underrated mint flavor. It's a very good mint flavor, actually. But like when it comes to flavors that I want to recommend people, like whenever I send flavors out to people, I normally always include Supernova because I think it's one of the flavors that people need to try, even if they land up like not liking it or not enjoying it and stuff like that. I think it's really important to try out that Supernova note because it is so different in so many respects. I think it's really good for that reason.
But that's the thing about Supernova is that it's like you said, it's not necessarily a flavor. It's more like I equate it to like what is it, Medwalk? Is that the stuff?
Is it like a shisha booster?
It's a flavor enhancer. It's a flavor enhancer.
Yeah.
That's how I describe it to people because people are
Medwalk,
like, is it mint? No, it's not mint.
It's not
It's
mint.
the chill. It's the cold. I don't have a way to describe it.
It's ice cubes. It is absolutely ice cubes that you put into your actual tobacco bowl, which is just so interesting. If I was to give off my top 3 flavors, the 3 flavors that like I don't want to go without when it comes to Darkside tobacco, it's probably going to be Green Mist. I think that one's fantastic. I think Red Tea is right up there as well. And then I really, really, really like this Genesis Raspberry. Like it's the first time I've tried it in this recent batch, but it has been so damn good. This Genesis Raspberry. I think that a lot of people would really enjoy it if they have the opportunity to try it. Those are my top 3 Darkside flavors. What about you, Jeremy? You've tried a whole plethora of flavors when it comes to Element and Darkside. What are some of your top 3 flavors?
I feel that I've tried too much to go first, right, Matt? So let's just go right
you
to
would be
left.
third?
Let's go right to left.
I'm okay with always being last. I'm
Shut
okay
up, David.
With this, just so
No, you're going next.
We're going
I'm
down.
I'm
right,
going down.
So it should be Jen.
Right. Yeah, it should be Jen. I think Jen's a good place to start. Jen, what are your favorite top 3 Darkside / Element flavors? 3 of each. 3 overall. I love Matt in Desind mode, right?
Dude, I didn't do my element flavors.
I gotta say, welcome to the JKPM DJ podcast.
I just remembered my element flavors.
Oh,
Belgian
Paul needs to
waffle,
tell us
calamansi.
his element
That's what
flavors.
you guys-
Paul needs to tell us his element flavors.
I only tried 2. Belgian
Okay.
waffle,
Give us your
calamansi. They
top
were
2.
fantastic.
Oh my
The Belgian waffle's
god.
good. It was good. It was.
Guys, the only
Hold
2
on.
I've tried are my
Hold on.
top 2. I love you. Goodbye.
It was.
Okay.
Hold on. It was so good. It was amazing.
Well, now that we've gotten Paul over with for now, maybe we can move on to Jen, right? Savage J, what is your top 3 Darkside / Element? 3 of each, 3 of all, 3 of one, 2 of another. I don't care. Spit it, girl.
Okay.
Wait, after shot or before shot?
Look at my makeup, Kay.
Most underwhelming moments of 2019
If you
featuring
can't tell,
Jen.
my eyes look so chinky.
What?
God.
I'm not commenting.
I just
I'm
opened
Asian,
a
so I can
bottle
say
of that
That's why I'm not
2019 Bourbon
commenting.
County.
What's Jen? Do you know what Bruce Lee's favorite drink is?
No.
It's water.
Okay, Paul, come on before I say my flavors.
Cheers.
All right.
Hold on, guys. Adding more coals to the pile.
Oh God.
I hate tequila.
While we go through this intermission, I was lucky enough to pick up a full case of the 2019 Bourbon County. That's something.
I wanted to match.
Do you want some Bourbon County, David? Because I think I might be able to make that
No,
happen.
I didn't get my Coles.
I think I can find it, but I really wanted to match because we haven't done a matching beer garden yet.
I mean, this year's is 14.7% for a beer. I'm talking 14 fucking percent for a beer. We're talking about the previous releases being about 13.1.
That's a wine,
I think
bro.
is like last year, and then
You know the greatest thing about high alcohol beers is that they're not wine.
What?
And I
Mine
love
is 13.1.
Okay, Jen, I'm gonna mute everybody else if you would like to talk now.
Yes, please. Element. I've honestly, out of the kilo that I got, I've tried all of them. Top 3 would probably be grapefruit and pomelo, calamansi, and the raspberry is so dank.
What is Callais?
What is
Shit, I have to look at the
calamansi?
description, but it's very.
I think we're still I think we're still muted.
I think
we're still muted.
From
Hold
one
on.
To mute
Filipino
on
to
each
another, I got the
individual side.
calamansi.
You're fine. We're fine.
You're
gotta-
good.
So,
I just
calamansi.
unmuted it.
How you
Calamansi.
say it?
Yeah, calamansi is a small, round, key lime shaped fruit, citrus fruit that grows wild in the Philippines. Like you can find this
Ooh,
anywhere.
It's
Right.
it's a mix
Right? You can find this
between
anywhere.
a key
You can go to
lime-
any Oriental store right now and pick up a can of calamansi juice, which is almost like a lemonade with a little bit of a bitters. So it's almost like a lemon key lime kind of combination, and then there's a little bit of a bitter note to it where it comes from the rind. So if you go travel anywhere in the Philippines and you ask for like a lime or a lemon or something, they're gonna give you calamansi because that's all they have.
right.
calamansi.
Yeah.
Calamansi.
Oh,
Welcome to Pee Wee's Word of the Day. Today is calamansi.
Okay, everybody, that is your Filipino word of the day. Today, your word is calamansi.
I gotta see you.
Okay, and
That's so
then
good.
for Darkside, I'm gonna go before we get distracted again. My 3 top out of the 6 that I've tried would be the mango lassi, the virgin peach, and the glitch iced tea.
What about the
Glitch.
element?
Oh my
you
god, I
got
forgot
you
about
got
that flavor. So
two
good.
more to like discuss regarding element. So, what is the next favorite out of the other than calamansi? What is the sexy flavor from Element for you, Jen? What is number 2 and number 3?
I've already said 2 and 3.
Yeah, it
I
was
didn't hear it, and the people didn't hear it.
Wow. No one
I need-
ever
I
listens
need
to
I
me.
need another
Grapefruit and
beer.
pomelo.
Yes, and raspberry.
And raspberry.
I want you to go over your foiling technique after all of this.
Well,
Yeah, can you show us how much
Like-
force you put down because that's
Cause
just
like,
crazy.
Dude,
yeah,
I
like
use-
pounds.
Like
all-
I feel like you cheat and there's some tool.
Thank
that
you for joining the
exists.
beer garden on this episode of Drunken Ramper. We are having a great time.
This is the most out of hand we've
This
gotten,
is
let's
like
be honest.
great.
And
This
I'm
is
very
great.
happy.
This is quality
How many
fucking
foot
content,
pounds
Mr.
per
Desind.
second do
Quality
you apply
fucking
on that
content.
foil?
excuse me, I can't hear you. Everyone's talking.
I was
That's 'cause
asking
you have
you
a
how
bad
many foot
headset.
pounds per second are you applying on that foil? Like
A lot. I'm
Skittles or M&Ms?
What?
like, it's like chocolate and fruit.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
How
Chocolate
delicately do you play with the shaft and spire? Okay.
Anyway,
Okay,
so going
moving
on
on.
to a little bit more
David,
about
what do you
Element
think,
Tobacco and Darkside
top-
Tobacco. If you have any questions inside the chat that you'd like us to drunkenly mutter to ourselves and try to answer and then forget that we were trying to answer your question and then remember that we were trying to answer your question, please drop those questions inside of the chat and we'll do our best not to forget that we are live at the moment and try to answer
That is
them said questions for you.
I have not forgotten, so it's okay.
Until we
David.
get to that point where we have some questions, I would like to ask David at the moment. David, what are the things when it comes to Element Tobacco and this new venture of trying out their flavors has you most excited overall? Is it the fact that you're trying out different flavor profiles? Is it the fact that you're trying something from overseas? What is it about trying Element Tobacco that you're excited yourself to actually enjoy?
I think a lot of it comes down to okay, so this is gonna be weird, right? But I'm okay with making it weird because I've done that several times already.
Hi, David. Hi, David.
There is a
David.
I put
hear
down
it.
Bella. It's okay.
Okay.
I know. It's okay. So there is a weird, and Jeremy and Paul and Jen can probably validate this. There is a weird ass scent that comes from Element that is not the flavoring. There is something about this shisha just when it's in the air, right? And it smells sweet from a distance that no other shisha I've ever experienced smells. And it is one of the things that drives me crazy. I left the lounge the other day. I had my windows open. I was speeding down the road because I speed, and all I could smell on the way home was an open pack of Element.
So
That's
you're
all I
most
could smell.
excited about smelling Element Tobacco?
Yeah, I'm
It's
sorry,
not
but
anything
no.
about-
I'm
no.
sorry. No. It's valid because it's not the flavor. It's not. It's this concept to me that like I've never had a shisha that maintains this like cloud of smell that comes with it, and it's not the flavor, right? It's not like I have an open packet of blueberry and I smell blueberry. It is this sweet tone that just gravitates through the air, and that is what's one of the reasons why I'm in love with Element, right? I could be looking through 10 different flavors. I could open up my Tangiers, but the second I get the whiff of that sweetness in the air, I'm just like, fuck, like, look what I'm packing. Like it's that bad.
Well, for me, it's like when you open Gonzo cake, right? It fills the room with an experience. When you walk into a cigar lounge, right, and you're trying to pick out a cigar, you walk up to the cigar and you don't quite put the cigar up to your nose, because that would just be really, really rude. You kind of walk into the room and you're like, you gravitate towards a certain section, because as you walk through that room, you're getting different notes, and those notes are just not only on the tongue of your mouth, right? When you taste something, you taste it with your nose as well, and it goes down to the proper element of tasting something, right? When you taste a beer, when you taste a wine, when you taste a smoke, it's kind of like almost an aromatic feeling as well. And David,
It is.
can we finally like shit or get off the pot on your top 3 on Element or Darkside?
Yeah,
because
of course. I actually have a 3 of both.
everybody is sitting here waiting for that, and you're here long ass winded. I love you, my friend, but let's get on with the show, shall we?
Understood. Understood, sir. Okay. I will be nice and calm and thought process in place. Okay, so I have a top 3 like Paul, right? Because I've been exposed to these different brands a little bit longer than everyone. Like,
so bougie.
oh, I'm sorry, Mr. Filipino drunk.
I smoke all the flavors.
Hey, Paul, you look a little white there. You want to add some red?
I smoke all the flavors. You don't get none. Ha ha ha.
So I have ordered Darkside outside of other orders, right? And my top 3 for both are parallels that kind of exist. For Element, Morose is really good, right? Morose is probably my number 3, and that's just because there is honestly something like it, right? Like that chill factor exists between 2 different brands. So I don't know if I can call it my number 1, but I do definitely think it needs to be a namestay. Number 2 for Element is probably lemon. I always, for the longest time, went with citrus flavors, and lemon by far from Element knocks everything.
Hey, Paul, drink, bitch.
I'm out.
Okay, well, David go gets another beer. We will go to
They're
that
fucking
beer
over
gallery.
there, and I'm right here. Number 2, right, is that number 2? That was number 2. No, that was number 3. Number 2 from Element is actually no, I'm just completely messed up. It's okay. Number 1 from Element is actually raspberry. I will tell you, Matt, I like Genesis raspberry.
Is raspberry
that shit doesn't compare.
So
I
is
have
it
both of them, and I can tell you, I would rather smoke Element raspberry every single day of the week.
Is it a different flavor profile in comparison to the Darkside one? Because I think the Darkside one is super candy gummy like.
It is the opposite. It is
okay.
Have you had Trifecta raspberry or Alamira raspberry?
I have had Trifecta raspberry before. Yes.
So Trifecta raspberry, that scent that you get right? When you crack it open for the first time.
Little floral.
That tartness, though, that comes through is 100% Element Raspberry. Like I was blown away. I was like, no one else is allowed this. This is mine. Like this is straight up will be in every bowl I can possibly put it in.
Interesting.
Okay.
On the dark side things, right? It's different. I don't think you'd expect my number one, so I won't say it yet.
No, say it.
But my number 3 is their Lemon Blast. My number 2 is probably Eclipse, which you gave me, Matt, and I still have some.
That's a good flavor.
I hoard that shit. It's
like
honest.
a spiced honey whiskey. It's so very good. It's delicious. The first time I tried Eclipse, which is honey flavor, it was from Paul actually to me, and that is a fantastic flavor. It really is. It's like a honey whiskey type flavor.
It just does something different to bowls, right? Like it's not a honey flavor you'd expect.
Exactly. It has that spicedness to it.
David,
and then I'm sorry, Paul or Kyle. I'm sorry, Kyle. You are not Filipino and you don't practice capoeira. I'm sorry, Kyle. What were you saying?
hello, everybody. I was saying, if you and you were able to get your hands on some Darkside nuts, mix that together. It's really good.
Sorry, I have someone over right now. I'm doing this at the same time.
Darkside nuts.
No, I want to try Darkside nuts as a comparison between the two. I really do. Because I have nuts in this blend right now.
Make him do the sexy thing, David, is what he's saying.
So hold on.
Nuts is like hazelnut spread. Is what Darkside nut is like. It's like hazelnut.
So number 1, you ready? Is actually Ice Granny.
Oh, I haven't tried that one. I have not.
That is
Granny,
like
the
literally
first time I
the
tried
fucking
it,
opposite of everybody else. You are literally the opposite.
I am okay.
No,
with that.
it is
Do you
like
not know
it is
me?
great,
Do you not
David.
know
No,
what
hold
I
on.
make? Do you not see this? Do you
listen? You shit. It's perfectly okay. And I'm like, okay, this is cool because I want to hear more about Ice Granny because I have never personally fucking tried it. Right, David?
So you're gonna hate me because that was in the bag from the battle. Okay, so Ice Granny is super mellow, right? Very much a green apple, very much something that's subtle, but the mint that comes through is actually probably the more extreme flavor between the two. Ice Granny, honestly, to me, after trying stuff like Trifecta's apple pie, after trying triple apple from Alamir, because they're the only ones that would try it, right? A ton of different apple flavors. It's the only apple flavor I've ever tried that I just don't get a black licorice or an anise flavor.
Anise.
Right?
Anise,
It
right?
does not hit the palate. And it's just so what's nice about it is it's refreshing.
How's it compared to Dubai apple from Azor?
Is it more of like a nephew flavor?
So
It's
Dubai
nothing
apple
like
has
Dubai apple.
anise.
Did you just say is it more like a nephew flavor? Is it like the flavor you don't think about and then you remember? You're like, oh yeah, I have a nephew.
I don't understand.
What
I don't
you're
understand
comparing it
nephew
to?
flavors. I don't have siblings with kids, so you need to explain this.
It is a nephew flavor.
As compared to a niece? Is it more of like a nephew flavor?
Yo, Tanner.
Chat.
I'm gonna interrupt, David. Tanner,
You
congratulations,
fucking
you
win
won
the
my,
goddamn
random
internet.
number generator giveaway guessing game thing. I got you 100 grams of Darkside coming your way.
Hey,
Oh
look at
fuck
that.
yeah! So for those of
Fucking
you
Paul
who don't
with his
know, we
secret
can
giveaways.
hold Darkside on Facebook. We cannot haul or share Darkside amongst the group because of Facebook's new fucking policies, right? This show is for 18
Yes.
and older. This is for those that are able to smoke. And it's something that we're going to talk about towards the end of this fucking episode. But if you are not of legal age to smoke, this is the perfect time for you to get the fuck off of this stream, right? It's like the
Side note
perfect
to
time.
that. 18 also is a very soft number now. If you are 20, if not 21 in 14 different states and like 196 counties, get the fuck out of here.
Get the fucky out of here.
Facts.
Jen,
So-
I'm looking at you.
Where are we going with the rest of this, Jeremy? What was the next line
I'm
of
sorry,
topic?
Jeremy.
Well,
talk?
I got my top three.
Oh yes,
Because I
please.
think, David, you've talked about your top three. My top
I'm
three
good.
starts with grapefruit pomelo, right? You remember like going into a lounge and being a badass and ordering, the what you call it, the grapefruit trifecta mix, or the grapefruit almighty, or whatever it may be, the Triforce. I mean, we're talking about something that's gone back a long time, which was the AF grapefruit, blueberry, and mint. I gravitate towards that Element grapefruit pomelo because that flavor is hands down the fucking king of all Element flavors. That flavor is so fucking good. And then I'm going to go next, right? Next, I'm going to talk about something that I like to mix, which is the thyme and bergamot, which is going to add a herbal flavor to any of your packages, right? It's going to add that herbaliness of thyme and that great Burgermonster flavor that you get. And for those of you who don't know what Burgermonster is, there's this thing called fucking Google. Click it, look up Burgermonster. It's a great thing, right? And then 3, what is third with me with Element, right? Third with me with
Cola.
Element
Bet
now
on cola.
is cola. It is part of everything that I do. I get that little bit of fizz, but it's great because Element Cola is a herbal European style cola. It's not that high fructose corn syrup bullshit that you're drinking out of the blue case, right? It's that bougie white case that you're getting for an extra $1, all right? Okay, those are my top 3 Element flavors. And then when I look at fucking Darkside, right, we're talking hands down Gonzo cake. You ever see a fat man do a worm on the side of the street? Just hand me 200 grams of Darkside Gonzo cake because it'll be amazing, right? You got that raspberry and that cheesecake, a little bit of lemoniness that's coming through. It's perfect for that afternoon bowl, maybe after dinner with some coffee. And, I'm going to tell you that I haven't tried, Moreau's Element. So I'm going to go with Supernova as number 2. Because once you get past... Hold on. You listen to me, goddammit. You understand me?
I was just going to ask a question. I see.
Okay, you'll see in just a minute. When you get past the coldness of Darkside, it has a honey and a hay flavor, much like some cigars do. If you're talking like a Mexican San Andreas wrapper cigar with a double Ligero, we're talking about the earthiness coming through in that flavor, right? We're talking not just cold, we're talking about the honey and the hay coming through. And then when you go to number 3 on Darkside, I mean, it's really a toss-up. Wait, no, it isn't. It's red fucking tea. Because red fucking tea is an amazing flavor that is not available in the U.S. market. It is absolutely fucking phenomenal. It is a tea-based flavor with berries. If you know what that is, great. If not, there is also Google. And maybe if you're old school, maybe ask Jeeves, right?
Wow, I was like 7. I was like 7 when Jeeves was a thing.
You're turning yourself into more millennial.
I'm gonna repost this and bump it up. But you guys remember when Kyle did a live making a bowl?
If you're smoking that bowl, I'm gonna stab you.
You guys remember that?
Yes,
I want him to do that again. I also want
Kyle?
David. I also want David to do a live printing and like
That's
put a camera.
boring though, because it's
Shut up! I want
know,
a live printing of just like his printer and us watching a hookah be made.
Jesus.
Now, as we digress,
actually-
hold on.
Kyle went live making this bowl.
Paul, put the bowl down. Nobody will get hurt.
What are we
Look at
doing?
it. It's
What are
so
we doing
pretty.
here? What are we
Hey,
doing?
Kyle,
Jen, what are we doing
I
here,
could do
Jen?
another episode of that.
Because
I'm
you're
just
the
saying.
executive decision maker about everything Relix.
Yeah.
If you tell Paul he no longer owns that bowl, I will gladly take it off his hands.
Hey, no!
Jen, what are we
Don't do
doing
that.
here?
Paul,
Don't do that.
Paul, you can only hold on to the bowl if you agree to snap the right half of Jeremy back into existence with your Thanos.
Oh yeah, no, it's been missing. It's been missing. It's like stuck in that strip club somewhere.
I mean, that is okay, and my wife will verify if you were asking.
So I never noticed if there was any questions that got asked in the chat. I don't know if anybody else did.
Okay.
If anybody
I've
has
been
a question,
paying
There's
quite
a
a lot of
No, they've been
attention
talking to
there.
each other.
There is
okay.
really a
They're listening
personal
to us.
We're
preference
talking about
question.
Gonzo cake right now.
Hold on,
Gonzo
there
cake's
is
good.
there is one really personal preference question that came out of the chat at the very beginning, and it's from the Czech
Oh,
Republic.
that's right, with the Regal.
We're all 6, right? We're here from the U.S., so we're gonna say, oh yeah, USA made. I fucking personally hate the crown tray. I like the original tray because it makes the hookah sleek. It pays attention to the beautiful wood that he's put time into, or the resin, it be the case, or diamond wood, half to half. It really doesn't matter to me, but if you're gonna really like pay attention and you're gonna put it in there, and I'm gonna give a chance for David to go get something to drink because this motherfucker's still sober. Let's just
Can I go get another beer?
Yes,
go for it. Yeah,
go get another beer.
I lit coals and came back. So, Jeremy, to counterpoint that, I like that crown tray, but it has to have the aesthetic of the pipe to match it, right? So, like with the crown tray having a say like a redwood bottom or maybe an ebony bottom, I think it would look really exquisite with it because it's supposed to emulate, from talking to George, a chess piece, right? His original idea for the Regal stuff was chess pieces. He was gonna have pawns, bishops, knights, queens, kings, and all that stuff, right? That was his original, like, that's what he told me anyway. I mean, I could be totally wrong. But,
you are the hookah smoker with an opinion. We are going to listen to the rest of Paul, but I want you to go next. I just wanted to interlude that real quick because Paul is really excited right now. Let's go, Paul.
Yeah, totally. I mean, that's what I'm saying. Like, if the crown tray fits into the certain aesthetic of the whatever wood is matching with on the pipe, I think it looks great. Now, I don't think the crown tray looks good on diamond wood, right? Like a diamond wood with like red, yellows, and blues. I don't think it looks good on that. But like something with like an ebony or something with like a resin black and gold or something, I think it looks exquisite.
Mr. Paul Silao, you were being asked to drink in the chat.
What?
Does Paul have a large PP? No, he does not until he drinks.
I'm Asian. What are you doing? Like, why do you even ask?
Sorry, guys. I just switched over to a collaboration between Boulevard and Modern Times. Their barrel-aged coffee stout.
Mr. Desind, I better not get a freaking personal little DM there that shows you incapacitated. I'm going to move on to you regarding the Regal tray. What are your thoughts regarding the Regal tray, Mr. Desind?
The Regal tray is a useless piece of art that is both aesthetically pleasing and functionally deficient. It is at the same time awesome as it is at the same time just useless by all means. It is, to me, you're getting honest me right now, because to me it's a way to show off. To me, the Regal tray is a show off piece that kind of is around where our market is really focused at right now. Like, to be completely honest with you, that is one of those kind of pieces of what we have going on in the American market that is this weird melody of both the things that are great about what we have going on in both the the artisans and stuff like that, but it also shows one of the negative parts of it too, because it is such a useless piece of material. But like, it's been driven in us that if we're a fan of said brand in some way, then we need to go out and get it so that we can place it on top of our Regal. It is by all means really cool, and it's really, really nice, but it's also just useless. And there's a part of me that worries that because of how hard we sometimes get US made products, that it can also hurt when we start to drive up and create a bubble of things that are not needed, and it creates a weird field that is separated by the haves and the have-nots.
I think the word you're looking for, Matt Desind, is hype.
It is a little bit of that hype thing that we kind of talked about at the very beginning, but it's a different kind of hype because it's driven by the fact that we're fans of brands. And sometimes even the most nicest of all brands, I think we can all agree that Regal is a very good brand, and they're ran by very good people. They can also manipulate the market to their own self-interest by creating a product that is not necessity or not needed in any way, but it's only being sold at the est to try and create money. And
I disagree.
I don't think that's a bad thing.
I disagree.
I don't think that's a bad thing, but I do think that
Matt, I disagree because I've had.
I don't know what the fuck I just said. I have no idea what I just fucking said.
I've actually had that conversation.
Blacked out for a second
about the Regal tray, And I don't know if I'll get in trouble for this.
Oh,
It's very
Kyle's
much
regal
something
tray
I
looks
don't.
good on his head.
David,
Kyle,
say
I
what's
want
on
you to
your
know
goddamn
you
mind.
are-
Listen, I personally don't own one, but I think
This is fucking fantabulous, guys. And if I didn't say fantastic and I said fantabulous, it was on person, purpose. Yes, I'm a little drunk. Yes, it is okay because this show is for people of the age that are actually enjoying themselves. Now, I'm going to say a counter argument to Matt real quick, and then I'm going to let either Savage J or Kyle talk, whichever one wants to talk louder. But I'm going to say that it is useful, Matt, because people put their fucking coals on it, and they have also found a way to hang their tongs from it. So I'm going to toss that ball in the air. I'm going to land it where it's sitting. I'm going to listen to Dr. Smith and Miss Callais for a moment.
Hey, Kyle, I do have a question.
How'd you say my last name?
Callais.
Savage J.
Callais. Just make it easier for yourself. It's Callais.
Oh, okay.
Nice.
Okay.
Like we're trying to be like completely savage and
Kanye.
proper right now. It's okay. I love your hat, Jen, by the way. Thank you for following instructions. Fuck you, David. I still love you. All right, Jen, go.
Oh, you don't.
Jen, go. Go, Jen.
Fuck, what was the question? Oh, the
What do you-
Regal tray.
Regal
What do you
tray.
think about it? What do you think about it? We want to know what's up with it.
Original
Personally,
versus
I like
crown.
the standard regular tray and the crown tray. And I'm not just saying that because I'm really close friends with George who makes them. It's aesthetically pleasing. I've found ways to put the tongs on the tray or hang a provost lid. It's
That's a thing, Matt. You're laughing, but that's true.
Sorry, I was laughing at Kyle.
No, I'm laughing at
Did you see what he
Kyle.
just
I was
did?
laughing at Kyle. I was
No, I
laughing-
didn't. I was reading my
green
beer.
right now, and I'll punch you.
I was laughing at
Savage.
Kyle.
Jen, you'll have the opportunity in like 2 weeks, right? Because you'll be in Phoenix.
Who said that?
Me. You told me you're going to Phoenix.
Shh, I'm not going.
Oh, heart's broken.
She's totally going.
I'm totally going. No, but yeah,
Don't tell no one on
it's
the
not
internet.
because he's my friend. I actually like the tray. I think personally, I see it every day coming into Vapor. So if you guys don't know what that is, that's Ron and Neve's Hookah Lounge. Neve has the tray on her stem, and I think it looks absolutely beautiful. It's hard to put longer tongs on there. I forgot the brand that she has, but we've found ways to. It's useful. I like it.
Yeah.
Kyle, what do you
Personal
think? I mean,
opinion.
I know that you're drinking a beer from one right now, but let's get back to reality a little bit here.
Yeah, I think it functionally it does have that nice feature of sort of catching anything that we put on the edge. It's enclosed. But so I have two issues with it. The metal that it's made out of, I got this one at the Hookah Expo in Vegas. I had to travel back on the airplane with it. So I had it in a bag with some clothes. I don't think it got too squished, but it was enough to bend these little metal tabs a bit. Like, I don't know if you can see that, but there's like some markings there where you can see the
I
metal.
see it. Yeah, there's a crease.
There's
Yeah,
a crease.
So the metal is pretty susceptible to bending. And the other thing is, like, it's fucking sharp. If you accidentally, like, catch your hand on it, it's going to cut you.
And David, I'm just to let you know, I'm really relying on you and Paul to capture what's in the chat because, to be honest with you, I'm too drunk to pay attention right at this point. And let's continue with
Okay,
Kyle.
so what's going on? What's going on in the chat is Cam is trolling.
That's Cam. It's okay. Where's his mask?
Where's his mask? Come on, Paul.
Cam asked me not to put it on, so I won't.
Okay, well, Cam, I'm sorry, but I'm asking Paul to put it on.
No,
And
I'm not
since
gonna
I'm-
do that to him. He's gonna be like, no, he's gonna be mad. I'm
No,
not gonna do
we're
that.
just not going to do it.
So,
Okay, Jen,
Kyle,
go
so when
ahead.
you put
Hold on.
the crown tray,
Hold on,
your Regal,
hold
right?
on.
Yeah.
Okay, go ahead, Paul.
Does it tilt at all? Like, is there a way to lock it in place? Like, is it stable? Like,
Yeah.
functionally stable?
It's a fairly narrow, like, diameter.
It's
So I don't
1.3/8, just so you know.
tilting or anything. It's pretty
Okay.
stable. Yeah.
So it doesn't. It functions like a tray should, right?
It does, though. Now that you bring that up, the you can see where it's kind of got like a recess to rest on the tray holder of a hookah, a Regal.
Yes, sir. Yep.
It doesn't match up well with the older Regals. I can't put it on my like Gen 1, Gen 2 Regals. It's not quite
Right.
light enough, I think.
It's
So it's
it's
for the
designed
latest
for the
and
Gen
greatest.
3 Regals.
Yes, and okay, can I rebut what I said a little bit?
Yes, you can,
chime in
Mr.
on my
Desind.
own?
What you
let's
say
go.
with alcohol in your system, sir, is up to you.
This is
so-
pure honesty right here. I mean,
All-
let's go.
Yeah, I like it. I think it's aesthetically pleasing depending on the pipe that is matched with.
Agreed. I want to fall back on what I was trying to say at the very end, where I don't think that that's a bad thing to create products that are brand associated and that drive us to want to purchase things within that brand, to stay within that house. Same thing that like Apple does or Android does.
Can I
my
ask a
house is
question before
literally
you
filled
continue?
with Google.
Like
Yes,
these.
please.
Is it
Please.
healthy
These
to
are. I
continue?
would caveat the crown tray with a work bun tongue.
Okay, so is
I
it
didn't
healthy?
need this.
Is it
right? But I
healthy
bought it
for
because I
us to
thought it looked cool
continue?
as shit.
Is it healthy for us to
what?
continue in supporting the positive efforts of the community?
Yes, and that's what I want to fall on right here. Like that's all I'm trying to say. And what I was saying was a little bit more agitageous or egregious, and also trying to like kind of bring a little bit of levity in the sense of being very, very honest in I think a sort of opinion that doesn't get said a lot. But like at the end of the day, like I do agree with supporting things. So like full disclosure, where there's like Secret Santa stuff going on. Everybody knows about random different things. I'm not going to like state any names of any kind, obviously. But like the gift that I decided to get the person that I'm a part of the Secret Santa with is something that is directly related to the hookah community in the sense that it is a driven made product by somebody that makes products in the community. And I want to support the things that I like to see inside of the community. And I do like the Regal tray. I do think it is beautiful and it looks fantastic on Regals. That is not what I'm trying to say, opposing to that in any sense. Like I do agree 100% that we should support the things that we do like. So I don't know why I'm trying to backtrack a little bit so I don't look like such an asshole, I guess.
I think
I
it's
don't
really.
really
I think you made your
I think
point.
you're worried about something
Yeah.
that you don't.
I think you made your point fairly clear. Like you like the aesthetics of it, but you also see that there is a functional like problem with it, which is going to be which is going to happen with every product, right? Not every bowl is going to function correctly, but some bowls I buy them because I think they look great.
Agreed. Yes, 100%. Like
it is.
honestly,
So-
like we should buy the things that we do like. I agree
There's
with
gonna
that.
be there's gonna be a con to everything, and it's just like, do I want? Is this worth my money? Right at the end of the day, is this
End of the
worth
day,
my
end
money?
of the
And if it is, then good for you. Like,
So
did I need
So
did I
is
need
this
an Eggerman
is
base?
this literally
No, because a hookah tree base or something else that's
Or a
way
can
cheaper
base,
than a
right?
$150 Eggerman. It functions just the same, but I wanted it because they had the little gold thingies.
a $40
Mason is a
hookah
very
tree.
good example of this whole thing, right? Like Mason is a very good example of this. Like they create products inside their own line that drive people to want to buy things within their own branding line. It's exactly what they do. They live off that business structure. Like they created a brand with the Onyx Bowl, and then they one-upped it by creating a different bowl. Then they one-upped it by doing a revision of their Onyx Bowl, and now they're one-upping it by doing a bunch of other products that are also Mason branded as well. Like that is their That is what they do, and that's what a lot of people do, and there is nothing wrong with that. Okay,
Yeah.
nothing.
So I just saw Derek Moses in
hold on.
chat. Same thing, right? Do I need a Derek Moses host? Not really, but am I going to buy one? Fuck yeah, because it looks good with my fucking hookah.
And you do need one.
And that is
Okay, but I will say,
that is
hold on,
perfectly.
no, I will
hold
say,
on.
as someone who
that
makes
is
the product,
perfectly fucking
as
okay.
someone-
That is perfectly fucking okay. That is okay if you want to spend your hard fucking earned money on a bougie ass product because it'll make your fucking setup glow, right? That is perfectly fine. Is it necessary? Fuck no.
But that's what makes us enthusiasts, right?
Yeah, that's what I'm
Is
saying.
that that's
we're the
when
most
I make a
nitpicky
product, right?
of
When I make a product
the
like
smokers.
this, I messaged Derek and was like, "Yo, I want to make sure this fits your hose."
Yeah.
Right.
Well, not
that
only
that
it's
is the
like,
key to me, right? Is that I want to make sure that whatever I release can hit the bougie and can hit those people who are like, "Hey, I can only afford like a $40 handle," right?
Yeah, well, not just
That's-
that. It hits home when it's custom, right? It's yours. It's personal. When the
Raul,
artisans
Raul.
do that, it's fucking great, dude.
Raul,
We are
do you
literally-
not have an Eartho tray. Raul, do you not have an Urso tray? I'm asking Raul in chat. Sorry, guys. You guys have your own conversation. I'm talking to Raul right now. Raul, do you not have an
has
Urso
been
tray?
exposed to the Urso tray via
I have
Paul.
5, Matt.
Can I have one?
I have
Can
a
I
lot.
fucking have one so I can
No, I have
see
8.
how it fits?
I have 8 Orso trays.
Can I borrow one? Better
If
question.
Raul doesn't have an Urso tray, I'm going to give Raul one right now. So if you want
Raul
one,
has
Merry
5.
Christmas, David.
Darkside giveaway part 2. Raul, congratulations on your Urzo tray.
I had a few. I what? Or had a few. Broke was what? Raul, are you more drunk than I am?
Raul is drunk.
Maybe.
He
I
just
mean,
got off
that's-
work.
Raul is not
Drinking?
working.
I mean,
Raul
I want to
is not
congratulate
working. It is Black
Raul.
Friday. He is trying to
I want to know.
breathe.
I want to know what Jen
Sorry.
thinks about like artesian brands and stuff. Are they like?
Tell us something
yeah.
interesting,
What do you think
Jen.
about them?
Honestly,
And then,
I can't even
sorry,
speak on it
I also
because
wanna
don't
know what Kyle
too much
thinks.
about it. So I can't formulate a good opinion if I don't know too much. So I'll be
Let's
honest.
get
Which I can
ready
respect.
So, Jen,
to
what about like
rumble!
just regular artesian brands, like what David's doing with mouth tips or what Kyle's doing with bowls? What do you feel about like the artesian market?
I mean,
Sorry,
trading,
that's pretty loaded,
I'd buy
and,
it.
especially on a yeah. Okay,
I'd
Okay,
buy
but
it.
so with Jen's situation was that I had an issue come up that, and Jen, I'm sorry if it's airing dirty laundry, but like
Don't
I
do
thought
it.
you got a product that you paid for, or as from my knowledge you paid for, and it was something that was set up, and I felt really bad that it didn't reach you, right? So I sent you something that I thought you'd appreciate that was matching that, right? So the artesian market's very. I will and Kyle can agree into the same thing because I've been a user of Kyle's product, right?
Hold on.
Is
Hold
that
on.
like
Is it in some cases? Is it very cult like? I mean, do you find the same people buying things over and over again?
you do, but at the same time, that's the hardest part about it.
You have to get into the
like-
market in a way that makes it feel like what it is that you are either purchasing or selling is able to get into that niche club, because any niche object, regardless of who makes it, is going to have some sort of preconceived idea of as to why it is being introduced. Like, you have to make sure that you balance the idealism of, are you doing it because you want to improve the market, or are you doing it because you want to make money? Because if you just do it because you want to make money, then asshole. If you're doing it because you want to improve the market, then it's like you're a good person. And it's finding that equal balance between the two to make sure that the people buying it believe in the product that you're selling, while not just trying to get your money taken away from them.
So Matt, like,
well,
I
Matt,
will say,
also some people just like making products because they love hookah.
Agreed.
Right?
And
They
those are the
want
peop- yes,
they're
100%.
making products because that product doesn't exist for them, and they want to introduce it, and then all of a sudden be like, hey, I can actually maybe fund my hookah hobby or whatever it is by doing this for people, and if people are buying it, then we can support them. Caveat to that, I want to mention Pac Mats. Pac Mats found a niche in the market where they're like, hey, what are you guys packing your trays on? I was like, well, I'm just packing on a regular whatever, right? I was like, but would you be willing to pay for something or support a company that's doing it to personalize your packing experience? I was like, fuck yeah, I would.
Yeah,
You know, like, yes, I would do that. Like, it's a little thing. Do you need it? Fuck no, you don't need it. But is it like personal and kind of like enhances your hookah session? It's like, yes, it does. It enhances my Instagram posts. You know, so I'm totally into it. Like, I was like, yeah. Do I want a glass pack mat? Yes, I do. Do I want it personalized? Yup.
Yeah.
So,
I
but
mean,
that's just
Pac
it,
Mats
right?
and Derek Moses are like the key of the personalized market right now. I mean, literally, they are at the epitome of the personalized market. They are going to paint hoses for you. They are going to paint keychains for you, and they are going to custom cut the vinyl for your Pac Mat and make it whatever the fuck you want it to be. Really, I mean, within reason. Why would you go to somebody else if you were looking for a custom fucking setup?
I agree.
Yeah.
And
I mean,
that's
shit, man.
something-
Like, take a look at Kyle's bowls. How many people want those? All the fucking enthusiasts.
I mean, it's the same thing with Kyle's bowls. It's the same thing with hazy bowls. I mean, you've seen a hazy bowl go for well over $400 this weekend, and it says something to the market. It's like, okay, I want something that is great,
Definitely interesting.
but I want something that is going to look fucking perfect with my setup. And right now we are
definitely
pushing
interesting.
just over 2 hours with our podcast, and I feel
my
like
God.
we
Okay with
have
that.
like plenty of fucking more shit to talk about. We have Matt
So let's
Desind
talk
and
about all of
Paul
it.
Silao putting fucking coals on. I'm going to go on mute. I'm either going to ask Matt Desind and David to moderate. Is there anybody that needs to get off at this current time?
No,
I'm chill, man.
I think I might need to get off for just a little while to go and help my some people, my family upstairs with a issue they're having.
Okay, so
I
rather
just
than
might
end
need
the
a new bowl,
podcast,
but I don't
I'm
know
going
if I
to
trust
turn off.
myself.
My
I'm
ball's
gonna-
still going. I'm good.
I'm going to turn
And
off the
I'm
names. And I'm going to allow anybody that wants to and has the beer garden link to pop in here and chat with us, right? Because we all have our own names. We all will have our own identities and something that is special to you, right? Something that is great to you around what we're talking about, artisanal or something that's come out new on the markets. I would ask either Paul or David to drop the link in here and let this be an end to the beer garden and allow Matt to drop out and enjoy his time with his family and deal with things that are really important to his family, right? Because that is the most important part, is dealing with your hookah stuff,
I got it, Paul.
enjoying stuff. But at the end of enjoyment, you really enjoy hanging out with the like-minded people, right? And that is something that is special to not only the beer garden, but to Hookah University. I'm going to allow you to go live into Hookah University for just a short amount of time. Paul, if I will allow you, I need to make a quick restroom break. I'm going to go into an interlude real quick, and I'm going to let you take over this, and you can either
I'm
allow
ready for
people
another bowl.
or
so
pull people
I'm
from this
Let
show.
the chaos ensue.
I'll probably come back for another bowl and another beer.
Okay, this room is now locked. I'm going to let
All right.
everybody in the
So
chat
guys,
pop
let's
in
let's
and
let's,
be a
let's
part of the
pretend this for a
community
second.
experience.
We're gonna go on a 5-minute break. Everyone's gonna pass their own bowl, right?
I'm
Everyone's
not
gonna do
going on a
something
break.
new.
My bowl's still good. Because,
All right, so you guys get a 5-minute interview
I'll
with
be
Paul.
back.
Enjoy.
I'm leaving.
I'm gonna go pack another bowl.
Okay, Matt.
Jen's gonna pack another bowl. Kyle's gonna go pack Polar Cream, and Jeremy's gonna go eat. And I will be right back. Okay.
Kyle,
Love you. Thanks.
We got to do a Rocket League tournament, and I'm introducing this right now. We have a Discord channel, Gamers Guild, almost. That is going to happen. I'm going to pull the trigger on it. So what's going to happen is I'm going to give away some stuff, right? Since all of the Facebook regulations and things have restricted us from giving away things on the actual Facebook group, what I'm going to do is we're going to do it either on Discord for some of the gamers and on YouTube. Right, so the prizes and giveaways are going to be held there. We're going to do some tournaments on various games that a lot of people play. Call of Duty is going to be one of them. Rocket League is going to be one of them. And we're going to do tournament bracket style where people can formulate teams, and then we're just going to go down the link. And whoever wins it will win the grand prize of whatever we're giving out. That's going to be awesome.
I love that. Can I chip in to the prize pool? I've got 400 grams of my personal favorite Polar Cream. I'd love to contribute. Dude,
totally. Yeah, I'm totally into that. I'm giving away almost like 500 grams of Darkside as well, various flavors.
Yeah.
So that's gonna be fun.
Hell yeah! So I know everybody's gone, but I wanted to chime in before we moved on too far from that artisanal conversation. I think there's another reason that maybe doesn't get looked at from the consumer side of why these products exist and their worth, and that's as someone who makes them, it's.
Yeah,
I don't do it. I mean, I do it to put something cool out there in the hookah community, but I don't do it for money as much as I do it for personal fulfillment. I work a day job, 9 to 6. I need something as a creative outlet where I can make something that I'm proud of. So you don't need, Hookah Bowl doesn't need to have for instance, not to plug shit, but I'm just happy that I'm making stuff again. It doesn't need to have scale.
Oh my God, what is that?
Yeah, that's a new bowl I just made yesterday.
Yo,
to have all this.
Yeah, thank you for the new bowl, Kyle.
It doesn't need to have all that shit, but I make it. I imbue my personality or whatever. I'm just trying to say that I do it to fulfill my own personal needs.
Yeah, of course. And that's kind of what Derek was saying on the chat too. Derek was saying that he has a wall of all of his releases and his hoses and the pictures that he's taken of his stuff that he's made and that he's so proud of that when people post about it and talk about it, it's because it's just he did it, he made it, and now this person is enjoying it as a side effect of that. So he was saying that earlier in the chat, and I was like, yeah, totally, man. I mean, Bracken feels the same way with his mats. You know, he made a really personal one with my dogs on it, and I was like, dude, I don't even think I can use this for hookah. Right? Like, it's so nice that I don't think I can use it for hookah.
Yeah, Bracken and I had a really in-depth conversation about that, about just that need to like have an outlet to exercise your creativity and to like try to make something beautiful. Like, what else is life about other than like trying to create something that's beautiful?
I mean, as we test,
dude, totally, man.
As we test out not only the podcast, we're looking at, you know, I've been following Relix rings since the day you released them, and I remember. Hello, Nave.
Oh my god, I look so white. The lighting is terrible.
Welcome to the live broadcast of the Beer Garden.
Yeah, dude. Speaking of the artesian stuff, right? Like, I think it's also important that the community doesn't completely ostracize somebody for being a new artesian. Because I remember when Hazy first came out, he got so much flack.
Yes.
Right? He got so much flack for like introducing a new bowl, and they're like, "Oh, we already have bowl makers. We already have Relix. We already have Mason. We already have Stone." And I was like, "What's wrong with another guy introducing his art into the market? I don't think there's anything wrong with that."
It's completely healthy, right? It's a healthy.
Yeah. I mean, so the caveat to that, I think there's a problem when it's somebody like MIG that completely rips off somebody's idea and tries to just profit off of it. That's a totally different connotation to somebody who's like creating art like Hazy or like Kyle or like Brandon or any of these other bowl makers that are like, hey, I'm bringing this because I want people to own a piece of my imagination.
Right. It's a piece of who you are at some point, right, Kyle? I mean, you're talking about something that is crafted from your own hands from start to finish, whether it be a Derek Moses hose. I know I was on the first list of Derek Moses hoses. I know that I got some of the first pieces. I know I have some of the first pieces from Relix rings. And it took me searching and searching to find those pieces. And I was willing to go through that effort. Kyle, how do you look at it from your perspective, like a user's point of view? Like, from your point of view as a enthusiast as well as a artisan, how do you look at the creation of those bowls? And each of those bowls is going through I guess what you would call a life cycle. I mean, we've sent some of I've sent some of my Relix rings around the country, which is currently living with, it's currently living right now with James Henley, and he's getting to enjoy those bowls for not only HEW2, it's gone past HEW2. I've passed it around to some guys locally, and then it went to James Henley, and the next stop is Dejon Douglas. So that bowl has literally seen 5, 6, 7, 8, 150 enthusiasts, which what we had at our last year mansion party. I mean, that bowl has literally seen the lights of day. What does that mean to you as an enthusiast or as a artisan?
I'm going to correct you on that because we had over 200 people in that house.
Fire. Let's go. HEW 2020.
That is 100,000% like the most rewarding part of doing this and why I kept doing it. When I started making bowls, I thought maybe they'd see like 1 or 2 owners or like people when I put them out in the community. It was just sort of like, hey guys, look what I did in my pottery studio class. Does anyone want these? But now that I see things like you said, Jeremy, exchanging hands so frequently and getting passed around, I've seen my bowls in other countries across oceans that I've never crossed myself. And maybe it's a really minimalist perspective and microscopic view, but it just blows my mind to see things that I've made that originated like as just a lump of clay in like on my back porch wind up in like fucking Denmark or France or Germany.
Really? That's awesome.
Yeah.
Like Kyle, I will say
awesome.
You know how rarely I pack your bowl, and it's not because it's anything like against your bowl. It's 100% because that bowl to me ties so much of our friendship together that I would be heartbroken if it broke.
I know.
And that is the thing, is like when you and I first met at the expo, you were my ride, or I was your ride from Starbuzz Lounge to Oasis.
Yep.
right? Like that is how we met. Like I was super impatient and being like, I don't want to fucking deal with this. Let's go smoke somewhere else. And we ended up at Oasis, right? And like so many friendships gravitated because of the fact that you and I met. And I don't think people really realize that, right? So many things you have done for me that have motivated me to keep going. And I don't vocalize it because it's a different thing, right? Like you motivated me, right? Like it was some guy I'd never met before who's riding in my Jeep, who's telling me about his bowls and this awesome way that he sent them, like fucking oak little box with hay in them, right? Fucking insane. Never met you before, and we end up hanging out all night, right? I make sure that like you and I make contact. You and I still talk to this day, be it maybe not enough, but like it's always a thing, right? Like it's always like you are one of those people in the industry that keeps me motivated, and I love that, right? Like you send me a message, hey, I did this bowl, and I'm just like, oh mother of God, like let's fucking go. Like
do you develop
every time you tell me something, a little bit of like what I want to do as a brand and what I want to do for people, like gets a little more motivated. And I love that about you.
Well, I feel real awkward with the spotlight on me now. Let's
It's
move.
okay.
Thank you, Dave. No. Thanks, man. That's awesome.
It's okay. I wouldn't mention this about. My bowl is packed. I'm waiting on Cole's.
I really see things as, you know, individuals gravitating towards a certain market or a certain individual because they are proud that their friends have done something amazing in the market. And it's almost like, okay, these are my friends. I want to support them to the best of my ability. I want to see them create something different, something new to the market, and watch them proceed along the path, right? When Derek Moses first came out, do you think he created the greatest bowls into the sunset, or Omar from Alpaca Bowls? Do you think he created the greatest bowls under our sun, or even Tangiers or a larger corporation? It's all about the growth process and watching an individual grow. And I think that's where enthusiasts have a higher mark along the path to these products, because they have time invested not only as friends, but as compadres. We are giving constant feedback towards things. We are constantly engaging in the industry. We are constantly on the ball on new products. It is a very, very exhaustive project. It's a continuous project.
I don't know if I would have proceeded with my initial alpha release. And I have to call it an alpha release because you and Paul and I are going to, and Kyle are going to chat, and Matt, everyone, we're going to chat after this. I don't know if I would have proceeded with my brand, right? It's the same thing as like, I don't know if I would have done mouth tips if it wasn't for me taking that time with Chris, right? Like,
dude, the mouth tips are like the best idea.
But you don't understand what I'm saying, right? Like
I love
everything.
this.
But everything that comes from my brand has been supported by you guys so much, right? Like whether or not I take the feedback well, right? Like, cause it's me, right? If you don't know me, chat, I take things to heart more than I should.
David is like the epitome of an overthinker. I know this.
It's not sensitivity. It's me.
Hold on.
Really
I know this
to make
as
sure.
David the person and David as a individual that, you know, working with the Hookah villains, an idea that came out of nowhere.
Dude, we've been on so long that my this is cashed out.
I have a fucking SC bowl ready to go. I'm waiting on Cole. So
we're at 2 hours and 15 minutes, which is pretty awesome.
Blockos, man, these things are lit. These bowls are good.
I will tell you this work run bowl for the first time. Dude. I picked it up. I got it today from the Secret Santa I was in, and I will tell you, oh mother of God, straight up. Let's go.
Oh, dude, you guys know what we haven't talked about?
This bowl is fire.
Sorry, I'm like
Matt. I'm going to tell you. I think you were my Secret Santa. So if this was you, I'm calling you out.
Like, we haven't talked about how you guys pack your element or your dark side.
Pack methodology. Can we wait for my bowl to start?
Each one of us packs it very differently.
I just packed a bowl. Yeah. I would have shown it off if I would have thought about it.
Guys, do you want me to foil on camera?
Yeah. I don't know. Are we going to see your cheat tool?
Yes.
Are we
it.
gonna see how somehow you managed to not
I'm
have
gonna
a
pack some
crease
Element
in
Belgian
your-
waffle right now.
I'm gonna
Oh,
pack
look at
some
this.
Darkside right now.
You know what it is? Hand tattoos, motherfucker.
It's hand tattoos. Okay,
I'm just kidding,
that's how I know.
Motherfucker.
That's how I know you're Filipino
Why?
because you have hand tattoos.
I got hand
That
tattoos.
even
No, I don't.
says fuck. What you mean?
What you mean?
What you mean? Okay, I'm gonna.
All right, so I'm packing Element. This one right here. Okay,
Wait,
so
Paul,
can I
Paul,
talk
Paul,
about
Paul,
this
Paul,
for a
Paul,
second?
Wait. Can I pause you for a quick second? Do
Yeah.
you have Darkside Cola?
I do.
Mix
Okay,
them.
I want you to
Trust
pack
me.
Belgian waffle, Darkside Cola, and if you have any raspberry flavor or
Did you
cherry
guys
flavor.
notice that these element symbols are from the Fifth Element?
Yes.
All you post.
Fucking
Dude.
course I did. Hey, Paul, did you know that I made a sleeve that replicates the Fifth Element sleeves from the movie?
No, I want one.
Yeah, because I'm a nerd.
Here she goes.
So consistency of Element is totally different from like Darkside. Darkside is more of a coarse cut. Element is like super fine. I don't know if this thing will focus.
It's more
correctly,
along
but
the
it's almost like a
lines of
Tangiers cup.
Yeah.
Okay,
Tangiers
wait,
cup.
Paul, I've got to ask you because this was addressed to me. When you look at Element, do you think there's red dye in it?
Why would there be red dye in it? This thing's completely black. It's blackstrap molasses.
It's not blackstrap. I don't think it's blackstrap.
I
But
brought another beer.
I think
I
that
don't think you can get the color of a tobacco like this unless it's blackstrap.
I don't think it's blackstrap, but that's me, right? But
Unless this tobacco
I would
is
like
fire
to
cured
welcome
or
the
something.
none other than Eddie Chung into the live chat.
Hi,
Alright,
Eddie.
so I'm packing
Eddie
this
doing?
like semi-dense
Chilling.
on this Relix bowl. I got this bowl right here. I got from Cameron. He gave it to me last Christmas.
Dang, that's nice.
cute. That's
I
cute.
like that glaze on there.
Kyle, I have a question for
Yeah.
you because people have asked me how I get my relics, by the way, and they told me it was utter bullshit. Can you like validate me for a second and explain that giveaway situation?
I remember that giveaway. It was they drew it on at Oasis.
I drew it.
Oh yeah, Kyle drew it.
Kyle like straight up was like, "Motherfucker, no."
No, man, I was so happy when I pulled your name out, and so it was so like surreal. I was pulling names out of a hat to give away 2 of the Relix ring bowls prior to the release at the Oasis Lounge for Hookah Expo, which was 2018. And I think the first one went to like some guy I'd never heard of before. I think I mispronounced his name. He was foreign. He wound up selling the bowl, so it was like, fuck. I hope this next one goes to someone I know in the community who like I know will like appreciate it and keep it.
Yeah, that motherfucker sold the bowl. What a douchebag.
I will never
I'm
let
doing
anyone
this one straight,
touch that
David.
bowl.
I'll
I'm just
pack a little
saying.
bit more of Element later.
The next name I
With
pulled
the
up
mix.
is David Harris, and I was just like, I think I stumbled. I was like, David.
Damn, look at that foil.
I was
Dude,
so-
I don't know how you
That's
do
nice.
that.
I
swear
got
to
it.
God.
I figured it out.
I don't know where the crease comes in
figured it
on
out.
Jen's pack
I figured
because
it
I
out.
feel like
How
she's
did you do it?
cheating.
How does she
Figured
do
it
it?
out.
You should
Look.
do it.
You need
Show it again.
fingernails.
I won.
That's what it is.
It was
You gotta
good.
get those
I
extendo
need
fingernails. You gotta get
Okay,
the
I
extendo
need-
fingernails.
You need fingernails.
That's exactly what it is.
Wait a minute.
I'm
wait a
sorry,
minute.
but it's like, bro, my
hold on.
nails that long, people think I'll do coke, and I'm not okay with that.
Well, if you have all, every finger, it might be different.
I want to make
Okay,
sure
but-
that at
but
least
Kyle,
hold on,
like,
David.
I had straight up someone at the last meetup tell me like that shit was rigged. I'm like, no, you don't understand how much that bowl means to me. Like, I had a message with Kyle. It was like, I will be straight with you. I am scared to pack that bowl.
Oh
like,
my God.
because
So,
it means too much to me to break it.
can I tell you guys a story of HEW2? Right? So Matt and I were roommates in HEW2. We stayed in the same place, and Eddie was there also.
Yeah.
And Bracken actually.
Yep.
So
Yeah.
we were all roommates. Matt brought his Relix ring, his prototype, right? And I packed a bowl out of it. And I posted a picture of it on Facebook.
Yeah.
I remember
My
that.
messages blew up. Somebody was like, "Where did you get this bowl? How much was it? Where was it for sale?" And I was like, "Oh my God, what is going on right now?" I was like, this is somebody else's bowl.
I think
It's
I
like, and then I was getting accusations like, "You're lying to me. You bought that from Kyle, and now Kyle is lying to me." I was like, Jesus Christ, man. I was like, this is Matt's bowl.
but-
I just packed it and posted a picture of it.
But Paul, it goes further, right? Because like I don't know if I would have met you guys. Like I ran into you at the expo, right? I don't know if I would have met you, Jeremy, Travis, and like the squad.
David,
right?
you know you're a fucking lying dirty whore when you know.
No,
what I
I'm
said to
not.
you.
No, I'm not. Because
David?
before you saw my pipe, I met you.
What did I tell you? What did I tell you? What are the first words that came out of my mouth, David?
I know you thought I was poisoning people, and I wouldn't do that. But okay, here's the thing: is like I met Paul, Eddie, and Bracken before any of that. I met you guys in passing at the Cocoa Earth booth when they dropped the Earth tobacco, right? And I didn't know how to take it. I didn't, because the thing is, like, I wasn't in HU at that time, right? I wasn't involved to that point. And
I
the
mean,
thing
none
is,
of
like,
us were involved in
a
that
lot
point,
of what came through from the fact, and this is what I said earlier, right? I mentioned it in passing earlier. I don't know if I would have been as close to you guys.
Yo, I'm gonna try to foil
if
this, like,
I
Jeremy.
didn't have that. If Kyle wasn't there, like honestly, right? Like even if it's luck of the draw, whatever the fuck people say it is, right? I don't know if I would have met any of you.
Highlight of me going to New York. The biggest highlight of me going to New York was when out of nowhere Kyle Smith just appears in where we were at and stuff.
He
and like,
does that.
Oh
he
my
does
God.
that unless you get him in a.
I was
in
so
a velocity
wild
line.
Kyle Smith has appeared.
I was so excited. Like he walked by the door, the glass door that we were at, and I looked out the window and I was like, "Is that a Kyle Smith doppelganger?" And then he turns around and it's like, "No, that's actually Kyle Smith."
It's like catching a wild Pokemon. It's like shit. Like
it was amazing.
Do I
Kyle,
use
you're
my
my
master
highlight.
ball?
You're
Do
my
I not
highlight.
use my master ball? Do I use a dark ball? Do I
Always use a
premier
master ball for Kyle Smith. Always.
Kyle, you're my number one legendary. I've got to tell you.
Shiny?
Oh, dude, we should hold
You can be as
Pokemon
shiny as
tournament.
you want.
Yo,
I need to
Pokemon
get
Battle
a
Tournament
Switch.
would be so dope.
I need to get a Switch before we do that, Paul, because I'm on board.
Okay.
Start playing Smash Brothers because Cameron's talking a lot of shit the other day.
Bring it, Cameron.
So,
Hold on.
like, I had Smash Brothers for like a year now, but I've never played it. And I started playing it yesterday. I was like, yo, this game's hard.
Dude, there's a lot of shit going on.
I really, really want to get back to kind of like the heart of our discussion. We had Eddie Chung on last week. We talked a little bit about different element, but you know, Eddie's had more than just fucking element, right? He's had Darkside as well. We're talking about the OG Chung. We're talking about the man, the myth, the legend, the guy that's been around probably just as long as Matt Desind. We just don't call Matt Desind a legend because he has hair like Little Dicky.
Yo, I need you to start karaoke to the song Molly, and I will be very happy with you.
I love that song so much.
Fucking
I love
A,
Molly
man. Let's
so
go.
much.
Eddie,
I'm
what are
sorry,
your-
chat.
Eddie,
I'm sorry.
Eddie,
Sorry.
Eddie,
I'm gonna crack open another beer, and we're gonna reach a new precipice of how David drunk is in front of people.
Look at that.
And now I'm really worried because the head on my beer is screwed. So hold on.
Guess what, guys? I got Darkside Cola in my bowl sitting now. I'm waiting on Cole's. But I really want to know what Eddie's top 3 Darkside and top 3 Element flavors are and why. Kind of, what is
Oh,
your
man,
list,
Darkside?
Eddie?
I'll be right back.
Out of the flavors I've tried, I really, I smoke mostly like minty flavors, right? So like Supernova is really nice, but it's not really mint, right? It has that cooling effect, which is different.
Is it
which I
really a
like
flavor
about it.
profile? Because everybody's arguing
It's
here.
not.
It's more of an enhancer for me, man. I can't, like, I smoked it straight by itself.
Would it be a flavor profile? Sure. I mean, mint is a flavor profile, right?
would create
And
its own
dark
flavor
side would be
profile.
more of it's its own flavor profile. It'd be like cooling, right?
Yeah.
Right.
agree.
Because with mints, there's a bunch of different kinds of mints that have different profiles as well. But
Yeah, I mean, like we were talking about Dark Mint from Dark Side, and
That's a straight mint.
yeah,
okay.
that reminds me of Lavu Double Dark Mint. By
Agreed.
the way,
I mean, Lavu
Underrated
Double
mint.
Dark Mint is phenomenal. I will tell you that
Yeah, it's a good
Lavu
mint.
Double Dark Mint and Apple FX, I really like their double apple note.
Lavu Russian tea is very good.
Yeah, and then their
I've never had
lychee
that one.
was really good as well.
I never really got into Lavu.
I haven't either. I had a really bad experience with Lavu when I purchased my Lavu pipe, so I never wanted to support them after that.
Paul, how do you
that
pack?
ring pipe?
Yeah,
Which one?
How do you pack your dark side, Matt? How do you prefer to pack your dark side?
I go with a very, very fluffy pack when it comes to Darkside. I really do the common just throw it in there type of pack. I really do just scoop it with a fork and I just lay it down and then I just adjust it so it's right below the rim. If I go above the rim, that's when it gets really buzzy. So I like to go just below the rim, just right there. And that's how I like to pack Darkside, is just throwing it in there, not thinking too hard on it or anything like that. Cameron likes to do a semi-dense pack. He likes to do probably roughly like 40% compression to it or so. I don't mind doing a little bit of compression. Like I do roughly like 20%. I just pat it down, like I said, just so it's below the rim. But for the most part, it is very much just to throw it in there when it comes to Darkside. If I do a OG sort of bowl, like an Egyptian style bowl, then I literally just I scoop it and drop it. Like I do absolute fluff pack, and that will fuck me up pretty major. So I very rarely do that unless I'm feeling like I need to get a buzz going in some way. But for the most part, I just put it in there and then I push it right below the rim, and that does it for me. I'm doing Gonzo cake right now, and that's exactly how I did it, and it's fantastic.
Now,
I love y'all. I love y'all, but this is a problem.
Jen,
I haven't
now
drank much in a minute.
dark side
Hello,
or
Matthew.
element? How do you pack things? Dark side or element?
I'm so sorry, I can barely hear you.
Dark side.
Chat, I have a problem.
Okay.
The problem is that there's way too much alcohol and not enough David.
Okay, Jen, now that everybody else is muted, dark side or element, how do you pack it?
Honestly, I'm going to be different because a lot of dark side and element, it's supposed to be packed in a Turkish bowl with the lotus, 4 coals on top. I'm different. I like my foil. I like my Provo, but I'm stuck on the donut packing for both.
Donut packing, huh?
Donuts.
Yes.
Now, for those of you that couldn't hear, Paul, will you really explain yourself? Because I had to mute your ass.
Oh, sorry. It creates a convection oven thing with the bowl, so it allows the sides of the shisha to cook, not just the top layer. And it doesn't. The heat just doesn't penetrate the top; it penetrates the sides of the bowl, so it actually heats it up, almost like you're roasting something.
Now, Mr. Smith, I'm not informed enough whether you've tried a dark side or not yet. What are your opinions on how to pack dark side?
I think he means element.
Element.
Yeah, element. It's okay. Don't worry about it.
Element.
This is called the beer garden for a reason.
It's because I've had too much beer.
Yeah, I haven't tried Element yet. I've been packing Darkside with a variety of different methods. I really am lazy when it comes to my pack methods. I don't subscribe to one or the other. I found I enjoy it the most when I do kind of like Matt said. You just kind of fluff it in there and then pat it down until it's right under the rim. Because the only issue with going anywhere near a dense pack with Darkside I found is that it's so juicy, it easily overflows the spire and pours down into your base. You lose a lot of the flavor and longevity that way, it seems like.
I've noticed that if you heavy dense pack Darkside, you can burn the top layer off too quickly, and it won't allow the heat to transfer throughout the rest of the bowl as well. I feel.
Okay, so odd question for you then, Matt. Right? Because I told you earlier, like I trashed the first bowl of Darkside I ever smoked. What flavor tone do you get when you torch Darkside? Because I got some gasoline diesel level.
Yeah, when I burnt Darkside before, it was definitely a very unpleasant taste to it. It tasted like burning. It tasted like something was cooking at too hot of a heat. Like when you're cooking in the kitchen and you burn something, like it was very much like a burnt sort of sensation, and it never really got past that. Once you burn Darkside, and I don't mean like just overheat it and get it too hot, and then you can blow into it and purge it off a little bit and stuff. But if you actually like burn the top layer of it, then you can start getting a lot of very unpleasant flavor tones when it comes to Darkside, as you can with most tobacco as well. Like if you burn tobacco, the taste of burning tobacco, the thing that we as hookah smokers avoid is we don't want to burn, we want to cook. We want to make sure that things are giving off smoke as it's transferring the heat throughout it. That's why we smoke tobacco. If we wanted to smoke something burning, we would be smoking cigarettes and we would combust it. The point of smoking a hookah is that we are not trying to combust it. We are trying to slowly cook it. That's a big difference between the two mediums of smoking, obviously.
We are not trying to combust it. We are trying to vaporize it. And there's a huge difference between the two. And with that, I will introduce you to the hot fire trash section of this show. Paul, you've been around HU for a long time. How long have we been smoking Darkside? How long have we been trying Darkside?
About 2 years now. You've been trying it since 2016, so way longer than I have.
Have you seen the flavors evolve since then? I've noticed that Darkside
Glitch IC from 2017 or 2018, and just this year's edition of Glitch IC is totally different.
So you're telling me that
stands out now.
People like Darkside, people like Sir Bentley, people like Element really value the feedback that we are putting towards this effort, and they understand it. You've seen, Sir Bentley go back to the drawing board as of HEW3 and remove the red dye from their shisha. You've seen people just change things for the way the American market is working. We're not working. There's a very stark difference there. But, I'm not going to let David Keck in here. And the reason...
Oh, shit. Sorry, I'm on the... I'm out.
You are now live in the beer garden, David Keckles. It's okay.
He's gone. The Keckles is out.
The Keckles has left the building, right? So not only are we seeing the emergence of, flavor profiles change, we are seeing the fucking emergence of an American brand just throwing it all out there, coming in with the new Medwalk custom shisha, which is something that you can individually create. Is that something as exciting to you as trying something as Darkside? And I'm going to point to you, Mr. Desind, and I'm going to make you go first.
Yeah, I think that the reality is that maybe some people will admit and maybe others won't, is the fact that Darkside coming to the American market the way that they have, and also now Element coming to the American market like it has, it's pushing brands to do a better job. It's pushing brands to do something out of their comfort zone and get into something a little bit more fun and exciting. I think the most exciting thing that we have seen in the American hookah market when it comes to shisha hookah tobacco has to be Medwa custom making tobacco. Because here's the thing, is they could have done it so easy. So I don't know how many of you remember Hookah Freak, but Hookah Freak used to do these things back in the day where they used to have competitions where you could take the flavors from their hookah line and make your own custom blends, and then you'd give it a name, and then they'd do a big old ceremony, and you'd be able to get what's it called, a vote on the one that you like the most, and they would turn that into a new Hookah Freak flavor. But that was so simplistic in comparison to what it is that Medwa is doing now. Not only is Medwa giving you the opportunity to mix flavorings, but they're also giving you the opportunity to mix the flavor intensity, the type of tobacco that it's using, black slap molasses, honey instead as the binding agent. It's giving you literally everything that you could possibly want in creating your own custom shisha blend. It is beyond anything that I think at any given time somebody would have thought would have been the way that we would have saw the market go. Now I was hesitant.
I jumped the gun immediately.
What I mean was I was hesitant because the idea of the custom Medwa tobacco was something that was actually presented to me very early on in its lifespan, and I was hesitant in the idea of I wonder how the regular consumer, and I haven't spoke to Basim since he's done this, and it's awesome to see the enthusiast market take a hold the way that it has. I think it's super, super, super cool. I would be more interested to ask Basim, what has been the intake of the casual smoker, not the people that we see regularly on Facebook groups, but what has been the perception of the casual hookah smoker? I am so more interested in the way that us enthusiasts see things in comparison to the way that casual smokers see things, to see what their opinions are of these sorts of things. It's so
okay, but Matt, that's an odd question to ask in the sense, because that line to me is 100% enthusiast based.
That's why it's interesting, because I want to know, so you can only get so far with enthusiasts. Let's be realistic here for a second, okay? If you only sell things to enthusiasts, as Paul was stating earlier, you're looking at 2% of the market, maybe 5%, very, very fucking tops. And you cannot actually survive with that sort of intake. You need to eventually break the ceiling and get towards the casual smoker and get them to buy. There's a reason why Starbuzz is still around. Not a single one of us in this fucking room buys Starbucks anymore, but they're still fucking around.
Yeah,
Starbucks.
I don't buy Starbucks Starbucks anymore. It's all
not
it's
with
all
the
Dutch Bros, bro.
CK. Not with the CK, Matt.
I
We're
love
gonna
all
talk.
you fuckers.
We're
But
talking about
you get
Starbucks
the
with a
point
Z.
that I'm making. What'd you say, Jeremy? I didn't hear what you
We're
said.
talking about the Starbucks, not with the CK, but with the Zzz, just to avoid any potential corporate lawsuits from an asshole individual.
Yes.
Yeah. We're not talking about burnt beans over here.
You do know exactly what it is that I'm referring to. I just find that stuff to be very interesting because I want to know, is that enough to break through the ceiling? I actually personally 100% believe that it is. As long as it gets the decent enough of exposure, I think it can absolutely break through the ceiling to a casual smoker because the interest level of anybody that even starts smoking after their very first toke of a hookah, the first thing they want to do with multiple flavors that they like is start to mix them. And the ability to start putting in custom blends, I think, is exciting, especially to new smokers. Like that is not just an exciting thing that us enthusiasts do. It's also something exciting that new smokers do as well, in my opinion.
Now, Jen, I don't know if you have or have not partaken in the creation of a custom shisha, and whether you have or you have not, how alluring is that to you as a lounge goer or as somebody that runs a lounge when the boss man and boss lady are out of town? What is your intake on that custom blend that says this is Jen's mix? What are your thoughts on that?
I haven't partaken in buying or making my custom shisha, but I think it's a really good idea to do so because you're putting in stuff that you want.
Now, Kyle, go ahead, Jen. I'm sorry, I didn't mean to interrupt you rudely. No, go ahead. I'll let you dig it. Go ahead.
No, I kind of lost my train of thought.
Okay, Kyle. Now,
you got too many shots.
You
want another shot?
Yeah. Cheers, Paul.
Come on.
Cheers, Paul.
We've only had 6.
Come on, you little motherfucker. Welcome to the beer garden, folks. This is Beer Garden After Dark.
Oh my god! I can't believe we're still live.
Yeah, I can. This is turning into just a regular hangs that we have every night.
Tequila smells like shit.
Just don't worry. After 3 or 4 more shots, it'll taste perfectly fine.
I've already taken 6, Paul? 6?
Yeah, we're on 7 now. I just took one.
Welcome to the evening of an I don't know. I lost my train of thought.
This is I don't know how many we've taken live, but I took 2 before the show. So,
I mean, Kyle,
it's gonna be easier.
As a drink, as an artisan, what do you think? Where do you think the Midwalk Shisha line kind of lies in the U.S. market? Do you think it's towards the enthusiast? Do you think it's somebody that just pops on their site and says, "Hey, I like all these flavors. Let's see what they taste like combined"? Because to me, it's really, really an enthusiast kind of train of thought. And I actually have some time to spend with the Bossum out in Lawrence, Kansas. So I'd like to hear your intake on it from a pure artisanal, digestion stream.
So I haven't tried it personally, but that was news to me. What you just told me about the option, choosing what kind of molasses you want, or what kind of cut, or I forget what the other options.
Everything.
The flavor. Cut, the flavor, the binder, the casing, the whole 9 from start to finish.
The mere fact that those are options tells me it's purely designed with an aim at the enthusiast market. Because if you're just a novice lounge goer, you're not going to know what half that shit is.
Well, the enthusiast market right now is talking about Element and Darkside, and that's the obvious reason why we're talking about it. But if we pull something up like Medwalk, we can see that we can get a regular choppy style cut mixed with the flavor intakes that we like, say, from Darkside. As I was informed by Bossum, there's only really 3 major manufacturers of, hookah flavors in the U.S. So to see those coming from an enthusiast point of view and saying, hey, there's 3 shisha manufacturers or three flavor manufacturers, and you as an artisan saying, oh, that's news to me, it really tells me that there's a lot more possibilities that really haven't been breached with this custom shisha.
Agreed.
Yeah.
I actually think that it's also very likely that it's going to be a big seller for lounge owners because I mean it's been a long time since I've frequent lounges on a regular basis, but at the same time, like something that they like to do is they like to have their custom blends of tobacco at each lounge. They like to have their own thing that they like to call their own special kind of blend, and to give an opportunity to purchase a blend in your own specific style is very exciting, in my opinion. If I was a lounge owner, like it would be something that I would heavily gravitate towards, the ability to create, the Chimera blend or whatever and stuff. And that was the old name of my hookah lounge back in the day. Definitely. To do that,
I mean, as we reach 2 hours and 40 minutes, I will tell you that we're probably not going to be live for very much longer. But I will tell you to go over onto the Hookah Hangs chat of Hookah University and really kind of get into the discussion of things with your, local/non-local enthusiasts. Try and see what the communities have to offer and really digest kind of what it is they are about. We frequent the idea of people have their own decisions, and that's part of trying each one of these individual blends from Element as well as Darkside and as well as the custom Medwalk Shisha that's available. Kyle, looking at what Matt says, what are your thoughts on it?
Yeah, I think that's a good point, a really good point. If I were a hookah bar owner, I would love to have my own, like, any hookah bar you go into, they have custom mixes up on the board that they give some, like, cheeky name to. But to, like, create your own and be able to tell the customers, like, yeah, I came up with this mix and this blend and the intensity and the cut, that's awesome. As a consumer, it's speaking for myself and a minority, but I have such little faith in myself to make a solid mix. Like, my mixes are so frequently a good mix. I would be hesitant to, like, drop $20-$25 on a 250 of something that I don't know if it's going to be good or not. That's kind of what's been keeping me from giving it a try.
So do you feel that manufacturers are also hesitant on dropping $20-$25 on mixing a new flavor as a manufacturer and trying to bring it to the U.S. market or, worldwide market, as it be the case?
I mean, you go through testing, I'd have to assume, for every flavor. I know, and like infrequent and brief talks I've had with Moose from Trifecta, it sounds to me like he tests any flavor that comes out extensive periods of time, months at a time. I will tell you that Moose is probably harder on himself than anybody else is, so that's a leader to quality control, if you ask, in my opinion. And as we wind down the 2 hours and 45 minutes of the beer garden, do you guys have any final thoughts? I think what we were just talking about circles back around perfectly to the whole point of this podcast or this episode, which is that, like, it's a good thing that we have Darkside coming in with these unique flavors that the American market maybe doesn't have the capacity or, like, the financial backing or the willingness to try out on us, because it could mean losing a lot of money.
Matt and Paul, do you think it's a good thing that Darkside is investing their time in us to test flavor profiles?
I think, yeah, for sure. Because they don't know, like, different countries will have different flavor profile tastes that they cater to, just like anybody else, right? Like, our taste buds will probably cater more towards, like, especially the enthusiasts will cater towards more like a Tangiers or something like that, right? So them asking and having us try out their flavor profiles and what they have released in Russia or Germany or whatever, and seeing how we take to it and how excited we get to it, and what we think about it just in general, it's a good thing. Now, so to backtrack, also I wanted to answer your Medwalk question with the custom shishas. I think that's a very good thing, right? I think it's great for the community to have something like that, because just to the fact that something like that doesn't exist yet in the market, and that Basim is introducing it to us is great, because it allows us to really know what is going into our shisha and what we're smoking. Right, just the flavor, not just the flavor profiles, But like the kind of tobacco where there is Virginia, Burley. I don't know if he's using Oriental or not.
You can pick.
What kind of binder you want to use for it? Honey, blackstrap, things like that. What kind of cut you want into it? So I think that thing goes a long way because Basim at the end of the day be like, hey, the enthusiasts are picking only blackstrap molasses and this kind of cut and this much flavor into a shisha, which allows him to also adjust the things that he's releasing through Nirvana, through Medwalk, to Othmani, and all these other things, right? But it's also good for us to know, like, hey, I know that I put, blackstrap molasses, fine cut, extra juice, extra flavoring, and this mango 104 or whatever it is, right? I don't know how many mango flavors he has into the shisha, and this is how it tastes. So now let me go back as an enthusiast and adjust that and say I want now mango 103, or the same thing. Maybe you go back and say I want mango 104. I want less juice, and now I want to use Virginia leaf instead of Oriental or Burley. What difference does that make?
I mean, it's going to make a huge difference because it's obviously going to be a different,
for sure.
a different mango flavor.
So I think it's great, man. I think it's absolutely 100% great, and it goes back to a conversation that I had with Travis back in Miami when we were there, and I was like, because we were reading the WTO bottles, right? And WTO actually has on their bottles whether it's Nicaraguan or Brazilian grown leaves that they're using, and what kind of cut or what a strength of tobacco it is, right? Burley, Virginia, or whatever. So I was like, dude, that's really awesome. I think enthusiasts in particular would cater to that because especially enthusiasts that are more inclined towards the cigar kind of industry, they would love it because it tells a story of where your shisha came from, right? So, like if you were to tell me, or if Basim or whatever was to come out with a product and they were to tell me that, hey, I picked out this 2016 sun-grown Virginia flue-cured tobacco that was grown in this farmer's backyard in Nicaragua, and here's the story of your leaf and how it became a shisha flavor. Dude, I would be more than happy to buy that.
Well, we look at the enthusiast market as the leader of the industry, and the reason why is because we smoke every day. We look at things in a different view of every day. I would like to take maybe a couple of minutes out of our podcast to talk about what, let's be honest, as an enthusiast, George has really been leading the market and talking about the flavor ban in LA and how important that is on, kind of what everybody is up to, what everybody's been looking at, and really kind of what is happening in LA, how they're dictating kind of what culture you can and cannot have. They're dictating what adults are allowed and what not allowed to buy. They are really kind of like ultra like monetizing the industry of big tobacco. And we look at that nowadays and we say, hey, look, what is all this custom shisha? What's going to happen with that? What's going to happen with Darkside? What's going to happen to Element? What's going to happen with, our traditional brands like Trifecta, or even a mainstay in a lot of lounges and a lot of, smoke shops, which would be, Tangiers, or even Starbuzz or Maya hookah pipes, or anybody. Everybody is affected in today's environment of being banned by hookah tobacco. It is not just a case of a singular thing being, enveloped in a singular part of our country, because we know that California is on the leading side of what gets banned and what doesn't get banned in hookah, what does and what does not get banned in vaping. What rights are adults going to have at 2020? What are we going to really have to look forward in 2020 as adult legal aged hookah smokers that go to lounges that are supported by individuals who are legal smoking age? We're not talking about, the one-off or two-off lounges that are looking at the underage community or the dance lounge, or the individual lounges or areas that have problems because of hookah smoking. We are looking at people that are of age. We're looking at people that enjoy smoking hookah on their own time And we're not looking at, counterfeit products, which the FDA has revealed are the major concerns regarding the ban. In my opinion, that entire thing should be taken off the fucking table. The state of California has really fucking lost their minds. The LA has really gone out in left field in trying to ban something that isn't the problem. They're trying to go out and ban hookah because of vape. They are going out and attacking small businesses and small communities, mom and pop shops, because an overall lingering issue that is because of people allowing people under the 18 or people of smoking age, and they are basically banning things just because they want to, just because they are great, just because they are part of the council or part of the voice that speaks, tons. California is sponsoring buses from schools to come out. They are sponsoring people to come out from schools to show up at these meetings, taking kids away from schools, taking kids away from resources and time and true effort that goes into what I would consider required schooling, and they probably are not reporting it. What are your guys' thoughts surrounding that?
I think you raise a lot of very hard to fully grasp subjects in a couple of different facets. One of the difficult things about this is, like, if you start to talk about kids and you mention the sociability of children that are getting bused to these sorts of events and stuff like
Matt,
that.
Let me stop you for 1 second.
So
your kids are under 18. Do you allow them to smoke?
Yes. No, of course not. I don't allow them to smoke hookah or vape or anything like that. And I have multiple talks with my oldest child about these sorts of things to keep her on an understanding of what's going on politically and also sociably and all those different things as well. But at the same merit, it's not a bad thing that these kids are getting bused there. Like, that's not the issue with this, because we do want them to learn what the judicial system is and what it does and how it works, because that's an important thing for children to fully understand.
But do you think it's great?
The issue comes up.
Do you think it's great that the state of California are using this as propaganda and busing them in for this specific issue and not teaching them about the true judicial, process at hand?
This is the true judicial process at hand. It's a twofold thing, like I was saying. The issue is not the fact that they're being bused to these things that are happening. The issue is that I don't feel like they're fully being given an opportunity to form a true opinion, because the opinion that they're being given is that you're 1, underage, 2, it's bad, and 3, you shouldn't be doing it, which is all very true in accounts to those children. So they're not actually being given choice. It's an illusion of choice when they go up there and they're like, we think this should be banned because it's bad. You're not old enough to partake in it. You shouldn't actually be mentioning those sorts of things. Like, being bused there and going to witness it is absolutely fine. Having them speak about it as though their ability to vote in it is actually not okay. That's the issue that I have with it. The issue of them going there is not the issue at all. We should be teaching the kids about these sort of issues and how they pertain. There's another issue that we've talked about before when it comes to, like, parents are not being punished for the sins of their children and what they're doing. I agree with that to a certain extent. There's another issue that I don't think gets raised enough, is there's no actual punishment when it comes to the children, when it comes to actually partake in these things. I watched a really interesting documentary about vape culture on Netflix through a mini documentary series that Netflix is doing called Broken. I highly recommend everybody watch it. The issue that I have with it is they have multiple 17-year-old seniors talk about these things, and they all admit to vaping. And the issue comes about that when it's like, well, what is now their punishment for doing these things? Because they have no punishment. They're just being used, as you're stating, a propaganda tool at the moment, because there's nothing that's going to be said or done to them other than they're going to be used as a scapegoat as to why it shouldn't be there. The principal during this documentary series said something that I hooked onto very, very strongly. They said, when you're in this school and you're 16, you can't do this. I agree. But then he said, when you're 18 and you're out of this school, I don't really care. Good luck to you. It's like, okay, so you don't actually care about this issue at all. You don't actually care about what it's affecting or what it's doing to anybody. You don't actually care what the actual problem in line with this is. You only care about because they're in your school, which is not actually the issue that is being looked at and isn't what it's actually being fought, but you're using it as a way to migrate your own personal beliefs into what is happening.
So you're telling me in a roundabout way that politicians are using the people that are underage, they're not allowed to vote, but they are given a reason in a public due process to dictate the future of adults.
They're not dictating, and the issue is not the children. The issue are the politicians that are putting their own personal beliefs into what it is they think should or shouldn't be right. The bigger problem of this whole thing is if they truly believe this was an issue, then they would ban smoking. That's the real issue. If they believe that there is an actual problem and an actual thing that needs to be stopped, we have literal people from the Lung and Heart Association going up there and saying like, hey, this is a problem. Fuck that. That's not the problem with the kids smoking. The fact of the matter is, if you think there's a fucking problem with smoking, then ban the goddamn thing. Otherwise, shut the fuck up and figure out a way to stop underage smoking with actual punishment for the kids that are doing these things, because that's not what they're trying to stop. And that is what the bigger issue is they're not actually trying to stop an issue of millions of people that are addicted to substances. They're just trying to get it so that they can feel good about themselves. And Big Tobacco, who's already buying into vape market, understand this is the most important part. I'm not a conspiracy person. I don't buy into a lot of those kinds of things. But Philip Morris International, one of the largest providers of tobacco that gets paid big money to do these sorts of things, is buying into vapor products, and they're trying their best to damn them so that they can push out their own product called heaters that they can then start selling. Like, I think this is once again, and I like I said, I don't wear conspiracy hats. I don't do that sort of thing. This is follow the fucking money. That's all you have to do. And if you look at the money, it's all leading back to Philip Morris, and they're the ones that want to propagate this sort of stuff so that they're able to sell their own quote unquote alternative to smoking. And that's where some of these things fall to. They're not trying to stop people's addictions to things like nicotine. They're trying to get it into their own hands. That's where we see a lot of this.
So we see politicians. We see politicians lining their pockets due to the fact that they're banning vaping. The only thing that they're doing is making it acceptable to smoke traditional nicotine products such as cigarettes, cigars.
Yeah.
And, albeit, hookah in general, it's a traditional way of smoking tobacco. However, we see the flavor ban being attacked at an unprecedented basis. And we're seeing politicians line their pockets, not on the lines of, vape manufacturers, but we are seeing them line their pockets with big tobacco. We are seeing them line their pockets against hookah, against something that has been culturally acceptable to many a Middle Eastern traditionalist, along, men with many enthusiasts. This is something that has not been talked about. This is something that, we say, oh, Middle Easterners smoke tobacco. But it's more than just Middle Easterners. You look at me. I am like so white that I am clear. We are looking at Paul, where he is a brown Asian. We look at Jen,
I'm
who
red
knows.
right now.
Yeah, you're red because you're Asian and you're drinking. It's okay. We look at Kyle Smith. He is literally like whiter than Ricky Bobby, I swear to God. We look at Matt Desind, the great voice of the AM Hookah podcast. We are looking at multiple different genres of people. We are looking at something that has literally become a part of our daily lives, has transcended, religion. It has transcended race. It has transcended the entire population of the U.S. And the reason why I say that is because some of us are well over 2,000 miles apart. I would like to end this Hookah University Beer Garden on a positive note. And with that, we will know, and we thank you, George Johnson, for being at the forefront of every individual race, every individual person in this industry. You are watching out for what is going on, and I want to spend 2 minutes saying thank you, because not all of us smoke Regal hookahs every day. A lot of us use Russian products, but I want to thank you for being a champion of the U.S. market. And if you could think of one person in the U.S. market, that is probably George Johnson. At every little thing that has happened in California, California isn't the only state under attack, but he has been the outspoken champion of the U.S. hookah industry. Single-handedly, almost. He's been at every meeting and has done, the greatest job possible to continue the fight against banning traditional hookah. Right? He has been at the forefront of this fight.
Join the hookah chamber. Join the hookah chamber. Understand what is happening in the legislation. Understand. Here's the thing: is we do have the ability to get involved in this legislation. We do have the ability when we see these different voted public officials that have come up to election. Vote on the ones that are going to protect the rights that you hold most valuable. Or if you don't see someone doing it, I'm not trying to call you out or anything, but go and stand up for those things. Take an opportunity in this and see that no one is fighting for the thing that you believe in, and go and fight for that thing. We cannot lie to ourselves and say that all those old people, screw them. That's not the way this works. Go and get rid of the old people by being the young person with the sense of mind to go in there and fight for the thing that you want to believe in, because we do not see that happen regularly enough. It's not enough. It is not enough to call your state representative and tell them what you believe in. That is not enough. You have to be the person that goes and fights for these things. You have to. If you believe in them strongly enough, then it's without a doubt what you're called to do.
If you have a voice in the community, I will urge you to speak up on the issues that you deem worth your time. Just like any other thing, whether it be a bowl, a hookah, etc., speak up on the issues that are at mind. Champion the issue that is important to you. I have chosen Wounded Warriors as my mission of 2018. I have no plans on, backing down on that, but I also believe that you should fight for more than one thing at a time. And I want to just say thank you for everybody that is stuck around. I mean, it's literally we're reaching 3 hours and 2 minutes on this podcast, and we still have 15 viewers. I want to say thank you to everybody. I don't want to ramble on, but I do want to say thank you to everybody that has been championing this issue in California. CASA in the Illinois region, pay attention to what's happening there. They're also trying to do it in the Illinois region. Pay attention to what's going on to you locally, whether it be a hookah issue or something else. Stay informed, stay woke to what's going on. Pay attention to what's going on in your local market, because you don't know when politicians are going to claim you as the next victim. You don't know when, they're going to say something is bad. You don't know when they are not going to decide when prohibition doesn't work. We know that prohibition didn't work for the United States on alcohol, and we damn sure well know that prohibition won't work for the United States in tobacco. This has been an edition of the Beer Garden that will go down in history as a 3-hour stream. And I want to thank each and one of you that has, spent the time with us. And join us in the hangs afterwards. I mean, some of us are going to be lit as fuck going into the hangs next. But you can find us at whereby.com/hookah hangs. Am I correct in saying that, Paul? Because you were the only one.
There's a dash there somewhere. So before we end the thing, I've been secretly doing some giveaways on the chat. I don't know if you guys know this. I gave away 500 grams of Darkside on the chat. I want to say congratulations to Tanner Connolly. He won 2 of the giveaways. Travis Green, I think Eddie won, and
China
David
number
Keck.
1.
China number 1, and Eddie won, and David Keck won. So you guys just let me know what Darkside flavors you guys want. I will send it to you on Monday. And that's it for me on this subject. But the last question I posted on there was, where can you find all hookah-related legislation content in the United States?
Paul, I will let you be the smart one.
Commerce.
The Hookah Chamber of Commerce. Yeah.
The Hookah Chamber of Commerce. That is led by Arnie Aberman and George Johnson. They are leading the charge to save hookah in the United States. Join it. Be informed. Be active. Because I think LA is coming up on another vote.
5th.
December 5th.
So if anyone in California wants to go, hit me up. Me and Neve will be out there.
Will those dates be available on the Hookah Chamber of Commerce, or will you post them to the groups, please, Jen?
Yes, I will post a flyer.
Yeah, in this golden age of like hookah that we were talking about in kind of just the last 2 or 3 hours, we're talking about these new flavors, these new brands coming in from overseas. Everything is still under attack, right? So we got to be aware of that. This culture, this subculture that we have right now is definitely and will be under attack for a while. Like Matt was saying, like it's going to be under attack for a long time, and there's no way that we can go around that. So, and why is L.A. County and Southern California so important to this? It's because it is the mecca of hookah enthusiast culture in the United States. Everything that happens in the hookah enthusiast communities, in the Facebook groups, with the vendors, everything that's going on right now, most likely is happening because of the hookah community in LA County, in San Diego, in Southern California. Right? Just name the brands off the top of your head that are involved in all of this. The vendors, the brand, like everything. It's over there. Hookah John's over there. 5 Stars over there, Hookah Junkies over there. You know, all these guys are involved. They're all based out of Southern California. So if we come under attack, or if they come under attack, that means everybody else is. That's why it's so important, and that's why we're so adamant about like talking about it and making sure that there's awareness about this all this stuff. So,
I mean,
you know, don't let the hobby die out. There's group infighting. There's all these other stuff that's happening online, but the big picture of the whole thing is that, hey, we're all under the same boat. We're all in the same ship.
Mr. Desind,
right?
Mr. Smith, Mr. Chung, Miss J.
Alpaca, Travis Green just said Alpaca Azure.
Alpaca Azure. I mean, the list goes on, really, and we can name, names probably till the end of time. Zara, Black Lava, or Zoomerit. And we're talking, like, literally everyone. Everyone is under attack in LA. So, irregardless of whether you're in LA or not, I would say at least do a minimum of trying to support what they're trying to accomplish in Southern California. If not, get out, get involved, get informed on your local community. And with that, I will ask Miss J, Mr. Smith, Dr. Desind, and Dr. Chung, if you guys have any other final closing arguments towards this beer garden that has lasted close to 3 hours and 10 minutes. I mean, we were shooting for an hour, right? We were literally shooting for an hour, and here we are 3 hours later.
I don't have anything else to say.
Closing argument to that. I do want to give a shout out to a certain person who's made Team Darkside and Team Element possible.
Hey,
and that's to Brandon, and that's not because he's my boyfriend either, but it's the fact that he was able to hand select a team in different parts of this country and make it available to everyone, to try.
Yeah, I mean, also with that, sorry, Jen, Brandon was the forefront of introducing a lot of enthusiasts to foreign brands.
Yes.
Right. Like, I don't know if like a lot of people know that. Like, I wouldn't have known anything about Russian brands or any of this other stuff overseas if it wasn't Brandon posting this stuff. And it's because he lives over there. He's an enthusiast, American enthusiast that lives over there. It's like, hey guys, come check this shit out. What do you guys think about it? Like, dude, shout out to Big B.
Yeah.
Yep.
Big thank you to Brandon, and a big thank you to Cameron for bringing me onto that team and discovering. I wouldn't be here without this.
I'm gonna say big thank you to everybody. Like Brandon, beyond the closing arguments, let's look at Brandon. Let's go back to 2016, 2017 when he was the first one to help. I do believe it was Sally Park import Matt Pear into the United States market.
I remember that.
Yes.
We're talking like not even tobacco. We're talking about pipes. Brandon is an amazing individual. He's a gem to have on our team. And I couldn't thank Brandon enough at this point in time to make everything available, not even just tobacco or whatever it may be, to be on Team Edward or Team Stark. Depends on which faction you are on. This isn't a battle royale. This is like the shiny vampires versus, medieval knights. but Brandon has been a keystone in what has come to the U.S. market. Mr. Smith, Mr. Desind, Mr. Shung, thank you for joining us. What do you guys got to say?
I packed a bowl of Element Lychee. This shit is good.
That is
good.
something.
I'm gonna try that one.
I've noticed like most of their fruit flavors, it's fresh. Like, I think that like as far as lychee, what I've had, it's similar to Trifecta, but it doesn't have like, it's not sweet. It's very light on the sweetness, which is nice. The flavor itself is like dead on with the lychee. It's really good. Like this might be one of my top 3s.
I can't wait to try lychee.
Yeah.
Mr.
Dude,
Smith,
I'm doing Belgian waffle right now from Element.
Yeah.
It tastes like you know when you get those little egg puffs from like the boba stores?
Yeah.
Bro!
Tastes
oh
like
my
that?
god.
Shit.
I will say that after 3 hours and as many beers, I have an extreme need to urinate. So
I left and went, man. I am so down for some Rocket League after this. Let's go.
Mr. Desind, the one, the only, the final radio voice, and the beautiful sign off that you do, and the beautiful welcoming voice that you have throughout the community, whether it be through a live or whether through AM Hookah podcast or your own channel. What do you have to say of the 16 fucking viewers that have stayed through this the entire 3 hours?
oh, take us out on those sweet dulcet tones, Matt.
Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for watching this episode of the Beer Garden. I'm very appreciative to be thought of as one of the people to partake in this. I really appreciate everybody hanging out with us as long as you did. I hope you were able to enjoy the content in which we were able to put forth upon you. And I would love to hear your guys' opinions as well. So please, at any given time, let me know exactly what this about Element Tobacco or Darkside Tobacco. We really appreciate your feedback as well. Thank you guys so much for watching this product of the Hookah University. And until next time, guys, keep on.